Okay. I check. Yep. Good evening, troopers. Commander on deck. Welcome, welcome. It's time for the weekly debrief. I don't want this. I feel like every other week I'm saying I don't want this to go on for too long because for whatever reason or another. But today, like it's gonna be a hectic end of the month for me. I probably haven't mentioned this yet, but I have a interview on Tuesday. That's gonna be fun. And then the next week I have jury duty. Yay! It's gonna be kind of hectic for me. And also I have to work tomorrow because I have to come in an extra day to run a program. And it's so much fun, and I love it. It's not really. But whatever, the point is, like, I don't have to wake up early tomorrow. It's still, like, kind of late in the day, but still, I don't want to... I kind of still have to do some prep work before I go to bed, and... yeah, so that's annoying. So I'll be doing that, so I probably don't want to go too long. I know I keep saying, like, we're not going to go too long for this, but I'm hoping, like, limit this to, like, 3 hours max. Yeah, 3 hours max hopefully, and we'll see how if I can keep that if I can keep that promise to myself. Also, hey Moon, welcome. It's talking about like how I have a lot I have a lot to do coming up soon, but that doesn't change the fact that we have the debrief. We got to talk about what's been going on in the world, and yes, that does include a war update. Like I said, I do want to because like I said, talking about like conflicts around the world does fascinate me. Like, again, this is not just a bit. Like, I actually legitimately care about this stuff, and I want to talk about it. Shit's fucked. Yes, as always. How's the saying go? War is our business, and business is good, as they say. But yeah, it's just fucked. But of course, like of course, we're also gonna be talking about like other drama and shit like that. I feel like maybe I should split it up, or like, I don't know. Like, it's just it feels a little weird to talk about like global conflict and then go into like VTuber drama or about a video game or things like that. Like, maybe that's like, I don't want to say it's like not appropriate, but I don't know. It just like it clashes a little bit, I guess. Maybe that's the best way to put it. I don't know. But I don't want to like dedicate like another time slot to basically a second podcast. So it's like this is kind of like a podcast. It's not really one yet. I would like it to become one eventually once I get a hold of like guests and like a frequent co-host and such. But I mean, I know like Arch, for example, I know he talks about like global conflict as well as things like as well as like video game drama and shit like that. Like, heck, like I can just look at like the most recent podcasts. Just going off of the title. Yeah, he's talking about Cuba, BuzzFeed, and what was the third thing? And loot boxes. So like, I guess it's not really abnormal to not talk about this sort of stuff. Really, the solution is that Arch should just make me a permanent host on the Archcast, and that would fix everything. But no. Anyway, that's my pipe dream. Anyway, but yeah, so I guess it's fine. It's not too weird to like talk about this all at once. But anyway, like I said, let's just get into it. Let's see. Oh, I didn't get music ready. So stupid. Give me a second. Also, Kurakami, welcome. We're here talking about war and drama. Two things that meld very well together. Why is this here? That's weird. Okay, playlist. Hold on, let me get some music going. I don't know what to put on. Let's just do Animal Crossing, sure, whatever. We'll set it 4 AM and we'll shuffle that playlist. That should be good. Let me boost my audio a little bit. But welcome. Hope you're having a good evening. Hope everyone is doing good. I know the world is crazy right now, but you know. Let's do our best, as they say. Anyway, let's get into into our stories for the day. All right, so yeah, okay, so let's start off with like, it's kind of weird to say that there is a war going on that's less controversial, which is weird. There's a weird thing to think about, and it's kind of true because like, I can't think of any conflict, anybody who's kind of like against the war, in Ukraine, or at least the Ukraine like fighting back and all that. I don't think anyone's like against that. Now there's like conversations about like, hey, should we like be funding them, or how they think the war's gonna end and things like that. But like, most people are pretty much like pretty solidly on the side of Ukraine and such and such. Like, we didn't talk about them last time, but I knew it's pretty obvious we were eventually gonna be mentioning Ukraine and what's going on over there. Anyway, so from it's been a while since I saw this video, but from what I remember, because of the recent what's the colloquial term, party that's going on in the Middle East, there was like an opening of some kind happened in Ukraine, and it caused Russia to be pushed back quite a bit apparently. But let's
in early February, something shocking happened. Russian military communications suddenly went dark. Russian soldiers lost access to their most critical capabilities, including coordinating artillery and drone fire. Can you hear me now, Hua? The American company SpaceX had just kneecapped them by turning off Russian access to the communications network. But how did this happen? Was it the company's CEO, Elon Musk?
Okay, now I remember exactly what
was it really the US government and the Pentagon making the ultimate call? Will Moscow be able to find a replacement solution quickly? I'm your average infantryman, Chris Cappy.
Oh yeah, Cap. If you don't think Cappy's the legit,
will Moscow be able to find a
he
replacement
actually went to
quickly?
Ukraine and did some war reporting like on the front lines. Like he was actually there. He was like within like a dozen miles or so of Russia, of official the Russian lines. Like it was pretty scary watching that footage. Like he actually was there. I do recommend going to, I think it might be on Task and Purpose, the footage, but his old channel, well, it's not his channel, it was the channel he used to work for. But if you can, go find it. It's like an hour long, and he's just like talking to soldiers and getting a feel of like what's going on over there. And it was like, this was like pretty, I think it was early last year when he went.
Average infantryman Chris Cappy, let's find out. Like, Russian units at the line of contact on the zero line in Ukraine. The blackout had near instantaneous disastrous effects. Russian commanders were unable to issue orders from the top down.
Yeah, there was a blackout.
And then their units started firing.
Their SpaceX, what was it called? Starlink. It wasn't working properly. It just like it just turned off on them.
On each other due to lack of knowing where friendlies were located. To make matters,
they got friendly fire report. Okay, I forgot about that. That's pretty sad. Like that just tells you like how fucking chaotic like a modern battlefield can be. If you can't identify each other, then you might end up shooting each other. Like heck, there are like some pretty bad instances during like Afghanistan and Iraq of friendly fire incidents. Like I remember one where as if I was there. I saw a report on one where a group of, I think it was like around a dozen American soldiers were lost in a single strike because their air support overhead just dropped the bomb on their position because they mistook them for the enemy. And it happens.
It's even worse for them.
Which is
their
awful,
backup systems were being jammed by their own electronic warfare due to having no coordination. One intercepted radio communication from a Russian soldier said, quote, "All we've got left now are radios, cables, and pigeons." During the comms blackout, they reclaimed over 400 kilometers within just the first 5 days. Ukraine.
There actually is a policy that I forgot what the term for it is, but in the United States, there's like a policy, like if at any point we lose like the vast majority of like our communications and electrical capability, the army has like a contingency plan where they basically, I forgot the term for it, but they're basically going retro and have to rely on shortwave radio or and like runners and like again like World War I tech in terms of communications. And I'm not sure how fluent like your average modern day rifleman is like in this kind of warfare, but I imagine like at least like on the officer level they're like they're taught that at least the basics of like if you lose communications, here's what you do.
Troops were able to advance that far. And to put that into context, that's about 10% of what Russia gained in all of 2025. These are marginal gains, and Russia's still advancing and has the clear advantage on the battlefield. But this is a shocking development that raises a ton of important questions. One Ukrainian aerial reconnaissance operator, call sign...
Yeah, by the way, things in Ukraine are not going great. They're kind of just... I mean, it's been a standstill, like, but it's very slow gains on the Russian side.
Stang said, quote, on the Russian side, we observed on the very first day Starlink was shut down that artillery and mortar fire dropped drastically. Drone drops and FPV attacks also suddenly decreased. I'd be pretty useless without a connection too. All of this is because of this tiny device here, the Starlink terminal made by SpaceX. It gives soldiers the ability to operate their greatest weapons, drones, artillery coordination, comms, all done in remote battlefield locations that often have little to no infrastructure surviving. It connects to a constellation of low Earth orbit satellites overhead. So the way it works is it relays encrypted data between the terminal and ground stations that are tied into this global internet, creating a fast, portable, broad link almost anywhere on Earth.
So many satellites.
Basically, it's very hard to kill people without it. As soon as the outage hit forward deployed Russian units, they started trying to get Ukraine.
Much debris and garbage is basically in Earth lower
Ukrainian soldiers
or higher,
to sell
lower.
Their access codes to their Starlink terminals.
Some
it's
pylons.
Like those scammers
hey Gabby, how's it going?
Ukrainian forces were already positioned
talking about
in advance to take
Ukraine
advantage
today,
of the
at least for a little bit. We're eventually gonna go into Iran.
They had anticipated this was coming,
going to Iran,
and had in fact coordinated it. But how did Ukraine use this to trick Russian soldiers, and who really ordered the closure of Starlink? All the animation work in this video is sponsored by drone clone experts. A lot of guys that I know who play airsoft or who regularly do police and military training are incorporating this type of drone into their routine now and tactics for aerial surveillance.
Okay, but this is an ad. Like, we're not gonna watch the ad. It's a cool drone, so I was like, I kind of want to look at it.
To trick Russian.
You must construct additional pylons. We must always you must construct additional Starlink terminals.
Soldiers into giving up their sensitive data, basically getting them to dox themselves Pringles? And like give up their locations on the battlefield. In the Russians' desperation,
I love this shitty Photoshop. I mean, this might be AI at this point. Who knows? But it's like. I don't know, it's like I'm seeing like a stalker with a Starlink terminal.
To reconnect, to access to the network, they were fooled into giving thousands of dollars to the Ukrainian armed forces, which they thought was a service fee to get reconnected. And they sent over packets of information that in that data, it revealed their geolocation coordinates. So Russian soldiers were trying to beg, borrow, and steal and bribe their way back into the network because Ukrainian agents were pretending to help them.
I never heard of a merc named
They then
Pringles.
began firing on the positions of the now defunct Russian Starlink terminals. These issues were compounded by the fact that the Russian way of war operates really on this top-down method, so supplies...
So yeah, they were basically doxxed because of like what was going on. So they knew exactly where the terminals were for at least a little
reach units. Units can't conduct offensive actions without those daily
being
orders from the top.
Is this terrible at the best of times.
Don't get me wrong, it has its benefits in many cases.
In a fight, in the war, is
more ineffective when the communications
Wagner
are lost.
group.
Russia has managed to skirt U.S. sanctions by...
you mean the old leader? The guy who did the Thunder Run? That was a long time. Got it. That feels like that was forever ago, but I know you're talking about. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Shipping Starlink terminals into their country through third parties in other nations like Kazakhstan.
Everyone was so excited for that.
Distribute them to the front line. So Russian soldiers found these terminals to work better than a lot of their homegrown comms equipment. Since 2024, the Russian military has started to incorporate satellite internet into their force structure with the Starlink system. The only problem for them was that these Starlink terminals weren't supposed to be in Russia to begin with. So the strategic benefit for the US to allow this to happen, though, was that it made Russia dependent on tech.
So like this is like when I first heard that like, oh, Russia has Starlink, why is Elon Musk even allowing that? But the theory, by going off of Cappy's theory, which is like, I did a great pause right there, by the way. His theory is that we wanted them, or intelligence and maybe Ukraine as well, wanted them to become dependent on Starlink. And then when they're like absolutely, you know, when they're comfortable with it and they're like, we have this forever, we're never going to lose it, yada yada, then you take it away at the worst possible time. And then they're either fumbling and they're losing their shit, and kind of like what just happened now.
They held the keys.
Again, they lost a lot of land.
The Russian military began
recently
to rely on these unauthorized Starlink terminals more and more, basically becoming addicted to the tech. But this proved to be a blunder. Relying on a civilian communication service from a foreign nation for critical military operations.
Yeah, it's almost like that was a bad idea in the first place.
Is a vulnerability that it doesn't take a friggin' 4-star general to figure out. An average infantryman could see that. So what is the
and yet, like, you know, generals are fucking like complacent with it.
The story for how the decision was made to cut the service access. According to one account of events, Ukrainian authorities investigated a deadly attack on a passenger train in Kharkiv on January 27th, and they discovered that one of the...
But you can also argue that, like, oh, while they had Starlink, they were more effective, so they were doing more war crimes and such and such. Like, you shouldn't have done that in the first place. But,
these black market Starlink terminals was in the drone.
Again, we don't know
then there
why
was an attempted assassination drone strike against
while.
Ukrainian President Zelensky. And as the official story goes, that was the final straw, and Ukraine's defense minister, Fedorov, then presented Elon Musk with this documented evidence of Russian forces using Starlink to operate these long-range drones.
Like,
and then Elon Musk then ordered SpaceX to shut down any unauthorized Starlink terminals that wasn't properly registered on what's called a whitelist. So only Ukraine could access these terminals now, and ones that were in Russian hands without access codes were blacklisted.
Yeah, they also
and
put them in
basically
drones,
bricked. They were
which helps with like their
as
GPS
paperweights. So within a matter of a couple of hours,
I think they actually have like updated like the way they work. If a Starlink terminal is moving faster than like, I think it's like 70 miles per hour or something like that, then they automatically lose signal, because like they don't want them to be used in drones or bombs or anything like that.
Russian battlefield communications collapsed, and since they had no backup plan, no plan B,
and I think they added that change like
at least that's
fairly
what the official story
recently, like
says, but
January,
that
maybe
doesn't make complete sense to me. Why would Elon Musk, the owner of Starlink, suddenly turn around and decide on his own after 2 years out of nowhere to shut the service down, after first allowing the entire Russian army to become dependent on the service?
What the fuck is he firing from? I mean, I think it's a radio, but it looks so... God, it looks so Soviet.
Why would he then suddenly turn around? Was it because they had tried to kill just one too many people? For 2 whole years, similar attacks had been made by Russia with no changes. But who ultimately controls access to this very vital system for both armies?
Oh, the satellites.
Is it one man, or is it a government? It's easy to forget that just a year ago in 2025, there were reports that the US government was threatening to turn off Starlink for Ukrainian armed forces if they didn't sign a minerals deal. The point of this is that when the US government was in these behind doors negotiations, they threatened to cut off access to the Ukrainian armed forces.
The White House
happened while I was reporting from the front lines in Ukraine.
I was right. Yeah, he was
there at the front.
He was there
what
early
they thought
early
of
2025.
the Starlink device.
Early last year.
Every single unit I spoke to said they relied on it heavily, on these terminals that were outside every single one of their safe houses. They depended on them to keep drone feeds live and to get target coordinates. I saw them using it every day. So soldiers I spoke to said they would be absolutely f***ed without it. I asked, well, couldn't you just get another workaround? And they said another solution would suck and would basically take forever to set up. And this isn't the first time that the US government has used Starlink to tip the scales in the war by any means. In 2022, just a few days after Russia invaded the country, the Starlink service went live in Ukraine for free for the whole nation. It was actually used to connect the Ukrainian military to the US Joint Special Operations Command, who helped them with targeting Russian positions early in the war. It was used to see live video feeds to adjust artillery fire coordinates, and without it, the country may have fallen very quickly to Moscow. However, here's where it gets kind of strange, I think. During the first Ukrainian counteroffensive in September 2022, as Ukraine soldiers took back and recovered large sections of territory, the Russian army was in full retreat. They left behind hundreds of vehicles. If you remember, thousands were killed. It was starting to look like the front line may collapse and might turn into a strategic defeat for Russia for a moment. Front line, hundreds of vehicle territory.
And this was 2022.
The Russian army was in full retreat. They left behind hundreds of vehicles. If you remember, thousands were killed. It was starting to look like the front line may collapse and might turn into a strategic defeat for Russia for a moment. Suddenly, when Ukraine was pushing forward the hardest, somehow Starlink stopped working. It was a catastrophic loss of communications for them. But it only stopped working when soldiers got close to or beyond the Russian front line.
Yeah, early in the war, like every country that was like supporting Ukraine was very, let's be honest, pussyfooting around. Like they didn't want like them to do too well because very early it was always like Russia was like just like screaming and saber rattling about like, oh, we're gonna launch nukes if you help them too much. Like this is past the red line and yada yada yada. Which is just, like, we all know that was, like, fucking bullshit now. And let's be honest, like, this war would have been over already if everyone had just locked in. And we still haven't locked in, let's be fucking honest. I was talking every nation, not just the US. Europe has a lot to speak for about this, too. If we had just locked in, we probably could have ended this, like, 2 years ago. But, yeah, we're still fucking around.
Almost like they were being contained.
And unfortunately, soldiers on the Ukraine line are finding out
in their advance. Coincidentally, the Starlink access was turned off literally the day after Russia signaled to America that they were going to use a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, so like they just bought. I mean, maybe it's good that they were cautious, but at the same time, it's like you'd think by now they would have already done something because I don't know.
We later found out U.S. intelligence had learned Russia was seriously considering using a nuke. So Starlink was coincidentally shut off right as the Ukrainian army was advancing too far, too fast, right as the U.S. government was concerned about nuclear retaliation. This was at the time.
Yeah, so it sounds like the government was like telling Elon, "Hey, cut it. We can't. They're doing too good," which is just so. I hate that. I hate that so fucking much because like they're playing with their lives, but at the same time, it's like, oh, we gotta prevent nuclear wars. Like, which I also understand the concern. So it's like I'm not happy either way.
I'm categorized as Elon Musk tipping the scales of the war. The media ran headlines that a billionaire was deciding the outcome of a major conflict. But is it Elon Musk's decision,
I don't think it was
or is it the
him
U.S.
who
government
did it.
pulling the strings behind the scenes? The terminals used by any military are actually a separate service called Starshield. And according to Elon Musk himself, quote, Starlink needs to be a civilian network, not to participate in combat. Starshield will be owned by the U.S. government and controlled by the U.S. Space Force. This is the right order of things.
Which is what he's going to sell Starshield to the government and
quote
let them
from Elon
run
Musk. So the U.S. government also is responsible for paying for much of Starlink's Ukraine operations since early 2022. The Department of Defense and U.S. tax dollars covers the cost of running the service in Ukraine. According to public records, Starlink is subject to national security reviews by the U.S. government authorities. And on top of that, U.S. export law and sanctions constrain the service. So what we've seen is that every single time when the service is shut off for Ukraine or for Russia, it has always lined up with the U.S. government's strategic interests.
Yeah, so it's pretty obvious that the recent one, the government has always had control over Starlink and whether or not either side gets a hold of it. Excuse me.
All of this, why wouldn't they take overt credit? Because there is a value to having a layer of plausible deniability between these actions.
You're gonna get used to these kind of words.
Doesn't take the heat for the decisions which could impact foreign relations or negotiations. This is evidence it's not Musk making these decisions.
Yeah, it likely is.
It's going to be 16 satellites. Originally, it was supposed to go up in 2025.
But yeah, but they're doing their, now that Russia got their, solid kick in the pants. Now they're like, okay, we got to come up with our own version of this.
it's been pushed back into 2026.
Yeah, they're going to set up their own satellites and set up their own network, which is not up yet. So
whatever the case may be, once those satellites are up, it appears they will have an alternative. The sudden change on the battlefield goes beyond.
Is it going to be as reliable though? That's the
because
thing.
American fighter pilots are now fighting in Ukraine, and they sprinted across the flight line. They jumped into the cockpit of an F-16 and they locked in. Their flight briefing explained their mission is to intercept 425 incoming Russian attack drones and missiles that are aimed at Ukraine's power grid.
February.
Their squadron was located in a remote makeshift airfield in western Ukraine. The U.S. pilots' airfields here are untraditional compared to what were severe differences. And
yeah, pretty much the rest of this is just like them talking about, or he's talking about how they've been updating their fighter core and trying to like keep old Ukraine pilots on older MiGs and things like that, you know, the Russian or Soviet surplus, because like that's what they trained on. Like even if they're good pilots, you can't really expect them to like transfer over to like, you know, like an F-16, because they're not, it's a completely different platform. But you know, you can keep their veterans on like the older stuff where they're comfortable, and then you can keep then you have like the new guys, like your up and coming pilots, being trained by, you know, Western forces and learning on F-16s and things like that.
Point is designed.
And slowly over time, they're like converting
to
over to
type
like
of long-range
like
strike missions, but at a lower cost
better
and without
jets,
foreign targeting restrictions. This video from February 20th shows one of these Flamingo missiles hitting a Russian missile plant in Vtuber. That's more than 800 kilometers beyond the border. On the other side, Russia has had their war economy in overdrive for years already. Most of the country's factories, industrial output, and fiscal policy is focused solely on the war effort now. Just under 40% of Russia's entire federal budget goes directly to military and state security services. So on top of that, 9% of the remaining budget goes to interest payments for government loans that finance the war. That's roughly half the entire
like a lot
government
of
financial.
For like years now, there's been tons of predictions that like once the war is over, their economy is going to be like in the shithole.
Resources tied in the war. That immense amount of government spending on the military has grown the defense industry and kept Russia's relentless offensive pace, but at the cost of non-defense related business and economic growth. Economists are now warning that the sugar rush of defense spending could have the opposite effect on Russia's post-war economy. Instead of boosting the wider economy through foreign sales, Russia has overinvested in the defense sector so much that the instant the war ends, it could trigger a recession as the demand for weapons shrinks. All of that is, of course, unless Russia wins the war, which is one of the reasons why Putin is pushing so hard to annex all of Ukraine, and not just the territory already controlled by the Russian military. It's a gamble that his nation can outlast Western tolerance for the war. List on all of our.
All right, that's just a short little update about this. Like it feels now, at least recently, that as far as Ukraine is concerned, like it's very much it's kind of odd to say stabilized, but you know what I mean. Like nothing's really changing. It's always been trench warfare since like the beginning, or like at least early on. But really, we're not hearing much about what's going on over there. Like heck, even this video is kind of like a response to what's happening in Iran. So yeah. Situation is static, I guess. It's good. I mean, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but like I guess it's good for Ukraine because like they're defensive, right? You know, just gotta like hold it until eventually they give up. But you know, whatever, they're really tenacious and yada yada. Anyway, now on to the Iranian conflict. This video by good old William Spaniel, who's the professor I really recommend it. Now, okay, like I probably should like make it clear, between Cappy and William, they're both like on point about like what they're talking. Like they're probably like my most trusted sources in my opinion when it comes to like wartime. William is more like a global perspective. He's more worried about like the macro. I mean, Cappy does too, but like but William talks more about like, you know, how the economics get involved, the overall geopolitics and things like that. Like I use William as like an example as to like the justifications for the Iran war. You don't have to agree with them. I just gave you the justifications that as he understands them. All right. And with that in mind, with, recent things, there's been like 5 or 6 different videos between these two that have come out since last Friday. This is ongoing, and it's moving along very quickly, escalating very quickly. But regarding this, in contrast to like the Russia invading Ukraine, they can basically just keep doing it and doing it. The U.S. can't get away with that. It kind of needs to be quick, and there's other issues such as like this is a very, very unpopular war. I think the numbers are like 41% max for people who are like in support of the current conflict, and it's just they don't. That's just like that's regarding like morale, but then there's things like logistics, like do we have enough missiles, how much is it gonna fucking cost, and things like that. Like you already have a population, and understandably so, the American population is very tired of war, and as we should be, but then you have like the numbers regarding can we afford to do it, and then like the conflict itself is like causing issues with gas prices going up and things like that. So it's a very tenuous situation, if nothing else.
War is dominated by a pair of ticking clocks, and if you understand what happened with the first clock and what is happening with the second clock, a lot of the puzzling aspects of the war start to make sense. And then we can have a much better discussion of whether this whole enterprise was a good idea in the first place. The first of these clocks was the race to start the war. It is easy to forget, but there was once this other year called 2025, and in November of it...
William has like this ongoing joke of like he is constantly... He's a political scientist or game theory scientist, like professionally, and he has been very, very, very busy the past couple of years, especially the past couple of months. So I feel kind of bad for his entire community is like joking about like how he's not getting enough sleep or anything like that.
The Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group headed to the Caribbean to prepare for a special Maduro operation. Then, in January of this year, massive protests started in Iran, which encouraged the Trump administration to offer firepower in support. Now, this story has been told 1,000 times before, so I do not want to belabor the point. Prior to the Venezuela thing, the Ford was in the Persian Gulf region. But with it gone, and no other carriers nearby, the United States was out of position to provide effective help to the Iranian protesters. Hence the delay until February 28th and the start of the Iran war. Well, as I said, the United States felt a clock ticking in the background as it planned for the operation. For one set of the incentives, the more that time progressed, the less effective an intervention the United States could stage in Iran. Half of that was because if the protesting
it's just a case of like after watching this, or while I was watching this the first time, it's really just a case of like the United States Armed Forces are just like stressed incredibly thin as of right now. It can't be everywhere at once. Overall fleet capacity is much lower as compared to like maybe like the 70s or 80s.
Movement naturally subsided. It would be hard to coordinate everyone to get back on the street after the war began. The other half was because the Iranian government may well have massacred anyone left on the streets in the interim, giving the United States a smaller denominator to work with.
Up to high as 40,000.
People. From my position behind a keyboard, I cannot tell you what the optimal trade-off here was. I can say fairly confidently that the best choice was not to start shooting immediately after the protest crackdowns happened. The United States lacked sufficient firepower to have a meaningful impact at that point. In contrast, all of Iran's ballistic missiles and drones never left the region, so they would soon find their way over to U.S. bases and allied assets. To make matters worse, the United States did not have sufficient Patriots or THAADs or patrol aircraft to shoot down those ballistic missiles and drones. If you think that this war is
it's a simple matter of fact that like they just didn't have the manpower and material in the region at the time to like do anything. So they had to delay it until February, which was, you know, not too long ago.
Poorly for the United States. The same fight started in January would have been an unmitigated disaster. It is no secret why U.S. regional partners were lobbying Trump to wait. This is why. On the flip side, I can also tell you that waiting for months on end, then starting a war at that point, also would have been a terrible decision. If this war began in, say, September, then there would be little expectation that the protests would have any impact on the conflict. They would have stopped coordinating by that point, and good luck trying to restart that absent some enormous heavy lifting from U.S. boots on the ground.
Yep.
And you might be thinking to yourself, wait, aren't protesters having no effect on the conflict right now anyway? Well, hold that general thought for a minute, but note for now that the government is still worried about it, and still has to allocate effort to suppress potential rebellion.
Yeah, I've seen like footage of like they have snipers like in the streets, like atop like mosque and like other high structures. If you're out when you shouldn't be, or you're gathering into a crowd, they would literally just start mag dumping into you. So yeah, they kind of don't have the cover, but they are still worried about it, and they're still trying to fight any internal intervention.
Put differently, if you think that things are going bad right now, they would be going worse if not for that. In sum, there was some type of inexorable trade-off that the United States had to make here. And it is interesting that the prevailing social media sentiment in January was criticism of the United States for not intervening. But fast forward to the beginning of March, and the criticism is now of the United States for intervening. Perhaps part of that is due to the imperfect intervention that we are now observing, necessitated by wanting to keep some hope for the protesters. Let me walk you through some of the decisions made and their consequences now. As a starting point, the Ford should not even be there. It was supposed to enter routine maintenance earlier this year, but it was one of the two
that's another thing.
Available.
The Ford is not doing so hot. Like, I think the biggest like headline is like their bathrooms aren't working, and there's like other issues regarding it. I think it is finally being rotated out. I think the Lincoln is going to take her place, but like she should not be there.
So off it went to the region. At this point, I am sure that its crew is looking forward to sleeping in a normal bed. They might also like to have the confidence that their toilets will work.
Yeah,
but these are relatively small trade-offs in the grand scheme of things.
Defense community.
It has meant that minesweepers are out of position at a time when rumors swirl that Iran either already has or will soon mine the Strait of Hormuz. It has meant that THAAD systems in South Korea, which evidently the Pentagon thinks are temporarily better suited to be in the Gulf region, are just now getting shipped over.
Yeah,
it has meant that the USS Tripoli, along with its Marine Expeditionary Force, is also just now sailing westward from...
Oh yeah, also they're sending over Marines now. It's escalating.
Philippine Sea, its purpose unknown. Highly enriched uranium, Karg Island to disrupt Iranian oil operations, the coastline to stop ships from laying mines, or maybe targets of opportunity that are not yet apparent but may soon present themselves. Ninja late-breaking update here. The United States indeed struck Karg Island, focusing on kinetic actions to destroy Iran's military
they've already hit this island. Okay, if you don't know the significance of this island, it's basically where 90% of all oil, and not even just oil, just like any like trade good from Iran always goes to this island first, and then it heads out into the wider world. That's why it's a linchpin for their entire economy, and why it hasn't been a target up to now, because hitting it would cause arguably even more problems with oil trade. But also, it's a pretty obvious target opportunity. And just recently, it got hit with strikes, persistent strikes. I think it was along like this coastline, if I remember correctly. Another thing that I found interesting is apparently this island was in Battlefield 3.
90% of Iran.
Like this island specifically, it was it's literally called Karg Island in Battlefield 3, and I didn't play Battlefield back in 3. I know Battlefield 3 is like usually considered like one of the best ones, if not the best. Back when that game was out, I was playing like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, so I wasn't in on that. I'm not one of those guys who eventually grew up to become a Marine and is probably on that ship and now they're like eager, like, oh my god, we're gonna finally go relive this mission.
Oil products go through the island.
Who knows?
But
maybe that's where
the
they're going.
United States has tried not to touch that associated infrastructure. These efforts have not stopped oil prices from climbing once again, currently close to $100 per barrel as I wrap up this addendum to the video.
This is
another recurring point here is the lack of a ground-fired Shahed defense system like the one that Ukraine has. Aside from the point that the US strategy is to shoot the Archer, not the Arrow, there is a deeper question of why Iran's enemies in the region did not invest in such a system a year ago or so. Because doing it right, not implementing...
Yeah, like, everyone should be investing into anti-drone fighters, like, period. Like, all NATO allies.
The emergency mitigation measures that Ukraine is currently providing, but actually doing it right would take months. The explanation here
is... like, Sanyo is, like, on top of everything. Like, he has made videos... What are you... Okay,
it's a more complicated story involving the politics of the world at war, so I will save it for another time. Regardless, it was...
but like I said, Spaniel is on top of everything. Like, he has been predicting everything. Like, if I... Like, he has a video here on his channel. Where is it? It's like a year old. There's been so many videos in the past, like, couple of months specifically, because, like, it's so much is happening. This one, how does it destroy the world? Like, he predicted the Strait of Hormuz being, like, the center of, like, a very bad conflict if things go hot in the Middle East around Iran. Like, a year ago, he knew it. He knew. And, like, I can't find the video, but he had a video where he was like, you need to be investing in drone warfare now. And this was, like, months, if not over a year ago. So, so basically what I'm saying is that every world leader needs to be watching this guy.
They're part of the trade-off.
And doing what he tells them to do.
Waiting that long would have again removed the protesters from the picture.
And because they're not, that's why this is going so badly.
Not some idealized version of the conflict. I wanted to go through all of this because it much better frames the partisan debate about the war. One side will tell you that the Trump administration was completely oblivious to the military fallout that would come out of it. This is nonsense because no political side of an administration is ever tasked with understanding the military strategy. That is the Pentagon's job, and it is not even the Secretary of Defense's job, so we cannot look at Hegseth either. Maybe the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and one-time F-16 pilot Dan Kane had no idea how an air war works. Maybe Commander of CENTCOM Admiral Charles Cooper, a man who has personally sailed through the Strait of Hormuz multiple times, has no clue about the risks of shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. But both of those theories strain credulity, and they are the ones that are actually doing the planning. Or, if you want to get even more...
Yeah, so, like, basically what he's trying to get at is, like, this theory, I guess you can call it a theory, but, like, this complaint that apparently they have no idea what the hell they're doing. That's not exactly true. There are risks and benefits. They measured them. They found within their calculations that it was a good idea. But at the end of the day, that's just predictions. You can't predict, like, final outcome. Like, you can't definitively know. So that's just the thing. Like, you know, it already happened, but it's not because they're stupid. It's because they failed.
Technical. They're the ones overseeing the real grunt work of the planning,
and we're seeing that failure
items
now.
Are missed. On the other side of the aisle, you have a group insisting.
Of course, you also have that you also have that final thing of, like, well, you shouldn't have taken the risk in the first place. Which, you know, that's fair.
War is going spectacularly, and there is nothing for the American public to worry about.
That's my stupid thing.
But that also strains credulity because of the very real trade-offs that had to go into planning the war. And more practically speaking, we are not yet seeing the endgame in front of us. So if I may humbly suggest a better debate to have about this war, it is as follows. What we are observing now is the best trade-off that the Pentagon thought it could muster between preparing the US military for the task and letting the protest movement fade into nothing. Oh, there is also a mix of the US intelligence apparatus having to weigh the trade-offs. The point is, the calculation of the trade-offs is mostly a boring bureaucratic task. However, there was no rule saying that the United States had to do anything at all.
Yeah, it was, like I said, like, I already gave that. Like, you literally can argue that, like, maybe they shouldn't have done anything in the first place. Which, fair.
And the decision to actually go is very much a political one. So if you think that doing nothing was better than prosecuting this specific war, that is a perfectly reasonable viewpoint. If you also want to talk about other political decisions that handicap the United States here, like diverting resources to Venezuela or burning bridges with allies, that is also a perfectly reasonable viewpoint. But when you are facing a ticking clock, comparing what we have to an idealized version of the war invokes a meaningless counterfactual scenario. Well,
yeah, let's focus on what's in front of us and if there's a way to improve it and like what we can predict for the outcome instead of like, you know, coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Now that I have revealed myself to be a MAGA enthusiast with Trump derangement syndrome, who has successfully...
Yeah, that's like a common theme with him as well. It's been like, again, that's why I love him. Like, he actually is true neutral on this. Like, he is just reporting on what to talk about and, you know, giving I don't even know if it counts as praise. Like, he's just like, you know, acknowledging what they did and like whether it worked or not. But because of how neutral he is, depending on where you are on the political spectrum, you're either gonna like call, like, everyone, like you said, like, you're either gonna say he is full on MAGA, he loves Trump, or you're gonna say, oh my god, he has Trump derangement syndrome and he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. No one is happy, and that's like what I think is great about him. He doesn't play to any side. He just makes everyone hate him, which is why he's like one of the best sources, in my opinion.
Successfully induced all partisans to unsubscribe, and the politically agnostic to unsubscribe. Let's transition to our second ticking clock.
Anyway, I wish I could get like a class with him.
Sustain operations
but
before
I would have
running
to
against
pay to
the very real limits of U.S. stockpiles. And really, this is a question of how much time a competing clock has left on it that marks the longevity of the Iranian government, assuming that it is on a ticking clock at all. I know that the Trump administration likes to avoid discussing regime change as an explicit goal of the operation, but let's pause for a moment to understand.
Yeah, they haven't really mentioned that since the beginning.
Why?
Even though that was like a
absolutely
stated
no
goal
guarantee that regime change is in the cards here. And unlike many of the administration's other half goals, like reducing Iranian ballistic missile capabilities, measuring this is not nebulous. Either the government is in power or it is not. Thus, claiming that it is a goal is politically dangerous because it provides a clear metric for others to judge his failures.
But they did claim it was a goal.
And if it ends up being a success, he hardly gets the extra points for putting it on the target list from the start. Well, the early signals for regime change do not look good here. As far as we can tell, there is no immediate replication of earlier protests, despite the United States enfeebling Iran's security forces. Why not is hard to say. It is possible that the United States has not yet taken serious aim at security forces, because anti-aircraft systems, missiles and drones, and Hormuz security are higher priorities. Maybe that will change in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, that's
Yikes, weeks. I can just feel the cringe from the Indo-Pacific faction of the Pentagon at the notion of burning through Tomahawk stockpiles for weeks more. Maybe the government's crackdowns were too damaging, eliminating the most ardent critics and leaving a frightened public behind. Maybe Israel's participation in the war has polarized what you might call the moderates in the country into supporting the regime. Either way, leaked information from U.S. intelligence does not paint a good picture. There is, quote, consistent analysis that the regime is not in danger, end quote, and that the regime, quote, retains control of the Iranian public, end quote. Meanwhile, also according to the intelligence, Kurdish groups in the northwest corner of the country do not have the mass to pose a legitimate threat to the government. That, of course, raises questions of whether Kurdish groups in the neighboring countries could provide enough. And that raises the question of how much the United States shot itself in the foot by de facto abandoning the Kurds in Syria a couple of months ago. Again, a political decision, not a military one. The only bright spot here for the United States is the apparent absence of the new supreme leader. The only evidence that we have that this is not a case of weekend at the Ayatollahs is a written speech. No video, no pictures, not even any audio. Something is clearly wrong here. Otherwise, he would go on television and resolve any uncertainty.
Yeah, the theory is that he is
worst case scenario for the United States,
like that
he is moderately injured and does not want to have a timid first public appearance. Best case scenario for the United States, he is critically injured and unlikely to survive. That could be good just for the chaos of a second turnover in only a handful of days. A more interesting possibility is that the Assembly of Experts and IRGC knew that his injuries were life-threatening ahead of time, and named him Supreme Leader as a stopgap measure. If there is a succession crisis happening inside of Iran, it would be better not to publicize that to both the United States and the Iranian people. So, put in a placeholder and hope to sort it all out while the Grim Reaper approaches. The reason that this would be good news for the United States is because it leaves open the possibility that the government may still fall apart from the inside. It is just a question of whether the internal political jockeying evolves into something truly destabilizing. But until there is some real indication that something like that is happening, the clock continues to tick on US stockpiles.
Yeah.
Speaking of stockpiles, I am loaded up on videos.
Alright, so yeah, that's basically the global situation. Here's like some more like
we're anticipating that there was going to be a
okay, so like Cappy was one of the first people who thought that this was gonna happen. They were gonna like invade Kaiser, the island. I forgot the name of the fucking island. Also, welcome, Javier. I need to like get this live UA maps. I should probably use this. Like, if I want to like take this seriously and do like proper updates.
Island, and it appears like there was precision
hits
against some of the IRGC targets there. We were looking at a declassified CIA document from the 1980s where they outlined exactly the kind of strike on Karg Island.
We kind of already covered like most of like what is happening right now.
Trump said that the U.S. bombing on Iran's Karg Island, which handles 90%.
Yeah, so like they did hit Karg Island. There's currently what is that? Yeah, like there's still one thing that apparently is going on according to this video. According to what Cappy said earlier, is that there is like a global coalition coming together to defend the Strait of Hormuz. So like a lot of countries are apparently coming together to try to lock that place down. Let me see. That's the claim. I'm not sure if it's like actually true or not. And apparently China is also on that list, which is weird because they're like allies with Iran. And their ships apparently are already being let in without any issue. But I don't know, maybe they're thinking that like this is getting too hot and we need to open this up as soon as possible. But yeah, there's conflicts going on in like Iraq with because they're not being able to sit out their oil, therefore they're not able to make money, and now they're getting restless down there. That's about like the femboys. Thank you. But yeah, we're just like doing like a war update of what's going on in Iran.
Is that
I don't want to stick on it too long because we've already been going for like over an hour.
So since the Strait of Hormuz is closed, what's happening right now is Iraq is not getting their money.
Yeah.
Blowing up.
Oh yeah, and then like there's like the theories of like what they're already talking about like sending Marines over to the conflict. There's like I think it's like the 220th something Marine Expeditionary Force. I think it's like about 2,500 troopers.
The MEU, or I think someone was saying they wanted me to say it was Mew.
Yeah,
like
the Mew
character. Is sending the USS Tripoli, which is
she's
already
booking
underway
it
and moving fast there. It's about 200 kilometers off southern Taiwan, heading to the Middle East right now. And
yeah, and actually kind of what's interesting in this picture, you can see how big the wake is on that ship.
Yeah, you can This is the ship itself. This is the wake behind it. You can tell that it is moving fast.
It is really moving. It's trucking through.
Yeah, the 31st.
They got somewhere to be. They're like, what? We're gonna have a chance to shoot someone? Marines are like, let's do it.
The Marines are just so excited. Like, yes, we get to go actually do a fight. God. At least they're having a good time, you know, with no one else.
Send me. There are 2,200 of the sort of Marine
2,200
infantry there, another, I believe, 2,500 sailors. And this is what you're looking at, which is basically kind of like a small carrier.
Yeah, it's like a light carrier with Marines on it.
And here's a good video that I wanted to share with you because it shows
like here's how they deploy, which is pretty sick.
Of the MEU, the MEU, if you will.
No, call it the MEU.
And while we watch this, we'll take a look at what some of you guys are saying here.
Where's the live chat? This was like earlier today. This was actually a live stream. Let me see if I can find the chat. Well, can I like pop it up as like proper? I guess not.
Thanks for your coverage. This is good content. Trump loves his islands, said Hilton. Thank you for the
we're going for another island.
We appreciate that. It keeps our stream streaming over here.
Yeah, like I remember while I was like watching this, he was saying how people don't like this kind of content and they were getting like downvotes. They only got like 5.8k versus 120. Like, come on, guys, it wasn't that bad. Because like I kind of understand it. Like, you know, if you're talking about like sensitive topics like this, they might just like downvote you just because. But you know, they don't want to hear about it, or they think you're not being sensitive enough, or yada yada yada. But I don't think that was really an issue. They had like 7.6k people watching like at their peak. And I think most of them like they like Happy, they understand what he's trying to do, and they appreciate like he's trying to give like a nuance view on what's going on, what I'm trying to do, which I don't think I'm doing very well, but you know.
Somebody says it wouldn't be 300,000. There's only maybe a couple thousand IRGC soldiers in that one area. Yeah, yes, Sean.
Yeah, he was like talking about how like, oh, they have 300,000 troops. Like, no, and he's correcting him. Like, oh, and there will only be like a couple.
Right, I was talking about like there are 300,000 hypothetical notional enemy out there. You know, you're surrounded in the middle of the country by notionally 300,000 enemy, let's say. There wouldn't, of course, be 300,000 on that one objective. I'm stupid, but I'm not that stupid, Sean.
You only can do very basic infantry
member
math.
Says, this is Lenovo, or Nathan, says, they already tried that with the boats that carry 3 mines and were blown up. So yeah, that could be something else that the MEU does, is the Marines could go in and try to help with that demining situation. See, this is Gen Xer Reacts. He says, every time I see a B-52, I start singing Love Shack, Love Shack.
I don't know what that's from. Is that something? Oh, Gen X.
Do you have much of
that's something. That's like my mom's generation.
No, if I were to sing, the world would end. I tried singing Happy Birthday a few years ago, and look where we are now.
I told you not to.
Right,
I warned you.
It's going terribly. Look at what he did.
Yeah, speaking of the mining thing, by the way, just sent a quick clip to you that Ron actually
be unable to hook him. See what they have to say here.
But at least one hit the U.S. facility. There are no reports.
Loiter time. It actually could be a pretty good.
Caught in crossfire of a war with attacks by both sides on the soil. Like really, ugh.
Good, kind of just floating interceptor against these things.
But I will say I used to. People would.
Yeah, everyone's rush Karg Island. I told you guys, like, everyone's memeing about like the Call of Duty and Battlefield kill streaks, and this is an actual map from Battlefield 3. And I think Cappy said that like what do you call it, Battlefield 3, I wonder if the numbers are up right now. 2, 3, Steam, DB. Are the numbers up? Not price history, Steam charts, Battlefield. Did it go up? Not really. Okay, maybe not. You think? Maybe they're not that excited for it.
Say he's cheating. Like they'd be commenting, be like he's cheating. Battlefield 3, I foregoed having interpersonal relationships so that I could play Battlefield 3.
I think that was like 2010-ish.
And these are the strikes on Karg Island.
2011.
I don't think we got a good look at before, but here's the airfield. Right. They're hitting targets around the airfield. Looks like they're shutting the airfield down, which they could use that in the future if they wanted to ferry in troops themselves.
Can cross to Jerusalem now and check in with our correspondent Noga Tarnopolsky. Noga, good morning. It seems the U.S. and Israel continue to expand their
hurt. Is he in a coma? Yeah. We're getting initial.
Yeah, and this is the thing about like their new supreme leader. What did he call him?
I don't know. Iranian leadership has apparently gone underground.
That's what hiding but there was no he called for unity.
This was something that I really wanted to touch on, which is the new Ayatollah Khamenei, is he okay? Is he hurt? Is he actually in a coma?
Excuse me, that's actually his name, or is that just
he's in a coma and that he's been severely wounded, possibly lost a leg, and that explains why he hasn't even done. You know, it's not that hard to. If I take out my phone, I could record and post right now on Instagram or Twitter a quick message and be like, "Hey guys, Ayatollah Khamenei here, the new one.
The new one.
Hope you're doing good. Like, I'm totally okay. As you can tell, you can see, I'm live streaming from an undisclosed location. Everyone,
yeah, and that's like the whole thing. Like,
seriously, a little bit suspect, as the kids would say. I think personally he's been seriously wounded, and that explains why he's not showing his face.
Yeah,
because they would have every propaganda reason, just from like a propaganda point of view. I would want to show that proof of life, because that's a quick. That's
our guy's
a little
fine.
Bit of a blow.
Yeah, like Trump himself thinks that he's not doing great, but still around.
Any THAAD launchers?
Oh yeah, and just the thing, like we're talking about, like how they this whole conflict. He started comparing it to like a potential conflict over here in the Pacific, specifically around Taiwan, and how this has kind of been. It's kind of sad to think of it like this, but like it's been kind of like a learning experience, because it's showing just like how not great or up to the task that like U.S. military, U.S. missile defenses are not really up to par as to what we would hope. Because like comparing like Iran to China, like China's missiles are way better and they have way more of them. So if they were gonna like put all their bets on like their missile defenses, like in a potential Pacific theater war, it's not looking good. It's the Patriots, the DOAS, or all those like missile defense things could not like stop that such a great wave potentially coming in. So it's kind of changing up the strategy and we're already kind of seeing it in Iran, where it's less about interception and more about we got to go out there and specifically target those facilities and like stop them at the source, whether it's like striking them or boots on the ground, whatever. It's very much turning into like more offense than defense, and that's why like things like they're moving like this really expensive what do you call it, it's like a radar system, DOAD, something like that. And they lost one over in the Middle East, but they're bringing one over from South Korea. And like Cappy's argument, I might be like simplifying it, but like basically it's not really needed over here because it's basically not going to be as useful compared to like the Iran conflict.
In South Korea would just get obliterated. If
yeah,
we're being
that's basically what he's saying right now. It's just not gonna help.
Honest. And so
also,
yeah, go ahead.
going back to kind of like your earlier point about the ballistic missiles that Iran is using, that they're not quite as sophisticated as what we'd see from China dust up, is that we haven't really seen any like what they're called penetration aids on the Iranian ballistic missiles, so like decoys.
Yeah, like decoy missiles or missiles with actual penetration on them to go into whole like bunker busters,
things like that would soak up some of the interceptors and make it easier for the actual warheads to get through. Iran hasn't deployed too many of those using these new.
Yeah, they're threatening to drop mines and all that, and then the US doesn't have like proper minesweepers anymore. They retired like the last 4 of them, I believe, like 2 years ago or something like that. It's just fucking mess. Yeah, so I think that's enough of that for now, but basically it's kind of coming down to it's not going super hot. It's super hot. Well, thank you. But yeah, that gamble is not turning out so well right now, unless there's some kind of like shakeup soon. It's I kind of predict that it's gonna turn into like we're just gonna cut our losses and walk away and pretend that we won it either way. But we'll see. I would like it to end as soon as possible. But yeah, again, my opinion doesn't really matter in the long run. We'll see what happens, but that's just like what's been going on so far. It's kind of all over the place because of how kind of fast-paced this the war stuff is moving, and something new every. Like I said, I had like 5 or 6 videos, and I kept having to like delete them, not delete them, but like, you know, push them back because they were like, okay, now this is outdated. Okay, now this is outdated, and like these are the latest ones. Like literally came out like earlier today. And it will probably be changed. Probably everything will probably have changed by tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Anyway, moving on. A little less. I don't even think this is less controversial of a topic or anything like that. But this is a. There was like a recent debate with. I don't know who this guy is. Constantine. I think he's like a conservative or whatever. And he had a debate with Destiny, and everybody knows who Destiny is. We don't need an introduction to him. I actually saw bits of the debate. It was infuriating because it's Destiny, and he is a fucking schizo when he debates. He just rants and rants and rants and rants, and his whole strategy. Well, there's two bits to his strategy. One is to overwhelm you with just like nonsense about nonsense and nonsense, and then when you talk back about like trying to like, you know, get talk about the points, he's like, well, why didn't you talk about this? Well, why didn't you talk about this? Why didn't you talk about it? He just wants to like drown you, and then when you're not able to like address every single point, he'll call you bad faith or a moron or whatever. His other thing is how do I explain this one? This is a little more complicated. It's about misinterpreting words, you know, just pretending like we're talking about something different, completely different, and changing the and asking for like very specific definitions. But then when you give them to him, they're not good enough. He has to like fight against it and all that. I would like to eventually go in and like watch like debates with you guys, because I think that'd be kind of fun. This one again was like very infuriating, but also kind of fun to watch because of how stupid it is. One thing that came out of it is that there was this specimen who came out and had a very interesting reaction to the debate. Basically saying that he wished he had gone on stage and basically killed Constantine, because he was in the crowd. He was like right there, apparently in the front row. He claims that he made eye contact with him, and he wishes he had gone on stage to just to like, you know, beat up and or kill him. And this is getting kind of fucking crazy. We have spoken about like recent violence and things like that. Like this was a very good faith. Well, not entirely. but like I will commend Destiny because he went on stage and he talked to this guy. He was being a little worm about it, but at least he talked. At least, like, you know, like you can see right here, he's like shaking hands with the guy. Like, you know, there's at least like a appeal to being civil, you know, which is like, you know, that's something that's at least good. At least we're kind of going in the right direction regarding that. But like you're gonna find out, like, as we go through this, like Destiny still is part of the problem. And this is another source that I use, Warren Smith, Secret Scholar Society. I really enjoy this guy. He is also, like, I like to think that a lot of the people I follow are very smart or make me feel like an idiot because of how intelligent they are. But I really enjoy Warren because he is a really good debater, very good critical thinker, and he's also a retired teacher, despite the fact that he's not that old. I think he's only like maybe late 30s at most. But the point, he's kind of famous for he got fired from, he used to work with high school students. He used to be a high school teacher. But he got fired because he did like a little thought experiment, I guess, with his students. Like basically a student came to him claiming J.K. Rowling is transphobic. And he kind of went through with the student, you know, very politely, very patiently, you know, as you would with like a teacher would with a student, and like broke it down for him. It's like, okay, why do you think that? Like, okay, let's look at the facts. Like, what? Okay, let's look at what she's actually said and things like that. And they basically came to the very reasonable conclusion based on what evidence they had and what they were able to find that no, she's not transphobic. She just is, you know, standing up for women's rights and things like that. You don't have to agree with me on that, but if you watch, or I mean, I'm not making that claim. I'm just talking about the video. Good sir, welcome. We're getting into war topics. You missed the war update, but hope you're doing good. But yeah, at the end of the video, actually, let me find that video because it's a really good video in my opinion. Let me see if I can find, let's find that interview that he had. Yeah, this was like 2 years ago, and he was he was fired from his job for having this conversation with a student. Okay, let's just go through it like real quickly. Like a 5-minute video.
So these guys want to talk about J.K. Rowling? Is that so? What's going on with that? What do you want to know?
Oh yeah, and so like from the get-go, it sounds like the students came to him asking to talk about this. He didn't go up in front of a class and claim J.K. Rowling isn't transphobic. He didn't start this conversation. The students came to him and asked him about it. They asked him about it.
She's had a pretty controversial past. I just want to know, like, what are your thoughts on it? And, like, do you still like her work?
And this is Warren. He's currently a teacher right now in this video. This video was 2 years ago, and he's having a conversation with a high school student.
Despite her bigoted opinions.
So let's get specific, though. Let's define bigoted opinions. What opinions are bigoted? We're going to treat this as a thought experiment. I'm not going to say what's right or wrong or what way to think. The whole point is to learn how to think, not what to think.
Yeah.
So when you say bigot, you're starting with the conclusion that...
I wish I had a teacher like this when I was growing up.
Yeah. So first, let's start with, does she have bigoted opinions? So when you say bigoted opinions...
She has had a history of being extremely transphobic, I've heard.
Hey, you've heard. So what? Can you give me an example?
Okay, examples. Give us examples.
If you look at her Twitter, I think you could see a few things. If you want, I could try and find something.
See if you can find one.
So, one of these tweets that she came up with in 2019, she said, "Dress however you please, call yourself whatever you like, sleep with any consenting adult who will have you live your best life in peace and security, but force women out of their jobs for stating that sex is real."
So you find that bigoted? What do you find about
it? Was deemed transphobic.
Okay, it was deemed transphobic. Okay, but how?
I myself.
Do you find that transphobic yourself?
I don't really have an opinion on it, but I'm just going with what a lot of other people have said.
So let's pause it.
Okay. Let's not care about what other people say. Let's care about what you think about it.
Not go with what other people are saying. Let's try and learn how to critically think. So let's.
And like this is a good like I'm kind of doing this like on my own because combination I've seen this video before. I've seen several of his other videos, but like I kind of come to the being able not conclusion, but I've kind of come to. I don't want to say I'm a good critical thinker, but I am able to like go through these kind of like debates and conversations of like, okay, and the questions come naturally. Like, okay, so like what's like what like why okay, you're saying she's bigoted. Okay, here why have I been to I talk about news controversy, watch videos for the past 20 minutes? Because that's what I do. Also, hey, Israel. I just talk about what I find interesting. Like, if it happens to be controversial, then
tweet ourselves.
We shouldn't shy away from that kind of thing.
Statement. Do you see anything problematic? Disregarding other people's opinions.
Right now, I think we're talking about critical thinking.
She did try and pin some things on a specific group of people.
Where does she do that? Can you read that?
But force women out of their jobs for stating that sex is real.
So when I hear that, I'm interpreting that as meaning if a woman says that, saying that there's a difference between men and female and then being attacked as transphobic, I think that's what she's saying by attacking someone
like
for stating
1.2 million views.
That is exactly what she's saying.
Is that transphobic to you?
So, to me, no. Stating that sex is real is not transphobic. It's just a fact of life. It exists.
So is there anything you disagree with in that tweet?
In that tweet, I can't really see anything that I myself disagree with, but I can see why some people would think, oh, this is offensive. We can't have that here or something, because...
Sure.
There's an apology tweet.
Let's read that. What did she say there?
Yeah, what did she say there?
I respect every trans person's right to live any way that feels authentic and comfortable to them. I'd march with you if you were discriminated against on the basis of being trans. At the same time, my life has been shaped by being female. I do not believe it is hateful to say so.
You see anything problematic there?
She's apologizing, so no, not really.
Would you walk in while playing Pokepee and writing my job? Welcome, Mayumi. We're talking about this teacher that he's not a teacher anymore, technically. Basically, this is Warren Smith. He's a teacher who had this conversation about whether or not J.K. Rowling is transphobic. And this is like the exact recording. This is what, and he just had this like, this critical thinking thought experiment with his student, and he got fired for it.
If I could read it again.
It sounds like a very similar statement as what she was just saying. She's basically saying, like, I have nothing, to me, this is what I interpret it as, I have nothing against someone being trans.
Exactly.
It's your life, but you just don't get to impose on you can live how you want, I can live how I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Exactly.
You do you, I do me. Like, why can't we do that?
Like, oh, there's not much difference.
I'm not bothering you, you're not bothering me. Like, why can't we just be, peaceful about it?
Do you think it's fair that that she's being attacked by a large group of people and people are calling her, like you said at the beginning of this conversation, you said, given the fact that J.K. Rowling is transphobic, how do you feel about Harry Potter? Now, retroactively looking at that statement, do you think that was the best way to phrase?
No, I feel like an idiot now.
That's the problem. That's the problem. Or that's the problem the school had with him. He went and had a thought experiment with a student. It's so crazy that there's so many people these days that take hearsay as fact and pair talking points that are not with their own without ever taking the time to understand their own points. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, I was that too. When I was like in like high school or something like that, I heard the same exact thing. Oh, J.K. Rowling is transphobic and you should hate her. And I just immediately like, okay, sure, I hate J.K. Rowling now. So why put yourself through the drama and stress that comes with consuming these videos and news? I don't really find it stressful. I find it fascinating. It's just what I do. Like, I can understand if like at times you go through, like, it can get too much, like, and you get like overwhelmed and you just want to like disconnect from everything and like only consume things that make you like consistently happy. Also, that's way too loud. Let me put that down. But for me, like, I legitimately find this fascinating, and like thought experiments, and like when it comes to like this channel, like, I think you're new. I don't know if you're new or not, Zestrail, because like I'm pretty inconsistent on YouTube. If you are new, welcome. I'm glad to have you. Glad to have you here. But assuming you are, when it comes to like this segment of my show, quote unquote, I just like to talk about whatever I find fascinating in that week, and like it changes. Like sometimes I talk about like VTuber drama. Sometimes I talk about what's happening in conflicts around the world. Sometimes I talk about social issues, or video games or things like that. It's really just like a smorgasbord of what I found interesting that week. Like one week we literally talked about Minotaur Cum. And that is not a joke. We literally talked about a book about Minotaur Cum. Minotaur romance book. This one. We talked about this book one time, and that's because I just found it fascinating that week. And like, I can understand if for some people, like, you know, talking about these sort of things or controversial topics can be a bit stressful. And well, what did I miss? I don't think you were here that day, Mayumi, but we could talk about it later if you want. But the point is, I just want to talk about it because I find it interesting. And if you find it interesting too, then I hope we can have a conversation. And that's really the gist of it. No, right in front of my spaghetti. Like I said, this is a variety show, and I talk about whatever the fuck comes out of my mouth. It's not gonna be coherent. I can guarantee you, like 80% of the time, it's not gonna be coherent. But I think it's fun. So like that's my answer, Zis. I personally enjoy it. If it's not for you, I understand it. It can be, or like maybe the topic that we're going over is not for you. That's fair. And maybe you come back next week and I'm talking about Minotaur Cum again, and you're like, oh yeah, I love talking about Minotaur Cum. I'll stick around for this one, and that's fine. Or you can come to like one of my gaming streams, and like on gaming streams, I rarely talk about like super controversial things. I just talk about the game. Like maybe something will slip in, but like for the most part, I'm just talking about the game because I like video games too. I'm a pretty typical VTuber. I play video games. To be fair, this is like one part of my week. The vast majority of my streams, I'm just playing video games. This is just me talking about like what did I find interesting that happened over the past week. Also, hey TOA, welcome. Hope you're doing good. We're talking about Minotaur Cum and J.K. Rowling and how they're related, I guess. Anyway, but yeah, that was just like the introduction to Warren, and that's why like I appreciate him so much. He's a real straight shooter, but that interview that we just watched, this little 5-minute conversation he had with a student, where they came to the conclusion that J.K. Rowling isn't transphobic, that was a big fucking no-no. Because like Kurakami stated, like hearsay in the wider narrative had already decided that she is enemy number 1. Period. There is no room for interpretation, like at all. And I was very much like the kid that he's talking to in this video. Like I was around this kid's, I guess this kid was like maybe like 16, 17, maybe a little younger, 15. But I was around that age when J.K. Rowling, quote unquote, came out as a TERF or a transphobe or whatever term you want to use. And like the kid that Warren is talking to, I had the same reaction. Like, oh, she's transphobic? I'm not gonna bother looking into it or trying to find proof of it or anything like that. I was told this thing, therefore I'm gonna believe it. Period. because I don't want to be siding with a transphobe. But that's wrong. That'd be bad. So I just took it for face value and didn't question it. But like, if you actually dig into it and then actually like, you know, use critical thinking and ask questions and go backwards from like the statement itself and like, okay, can we prove that that is what she is? Then you find out, no, not really. she's not really a transphobe. She's a feminist, and there are arguably some problems with that. But transphobe, I don't think so. Like, no, maybe they didn't find a proper quote. Maybe there is a quote out there where she just straight up says it, like I like, she just says like she hates all trans people. Maybe that exists out there, but I haven't seen it, and nobody has ever shown it to me. So yeah, but that's the problem. This guy, this man, he showed a student critical thinking and they came to the wrong conclusion. Therefore, he's a problem. Therefore, they need to get rid of him. And they did. They fired him. He's no longer a teacher at that school. And now he does YouTubing full time. And thankfully, he's doing pretty well. He has like over 500,000 subscribers. And I think he does like substitute teaching on the side here and there at universities. Or like he does, I don't know, like I think he still does teaching, but his full-time teaching job though was taken away from him because of this conversation, which is just, I just find horrifying and baffling. And damn, I feel for the guy, but like he's kind of like taking it in stride. He, like, again, like I think he's one of the best thinkers on YouTube in my opinion. Excuse me, my water. You guys aren't reminding me to drink water. And here I am talking like an idiot. You know, it's wondering because consuming media, listening to news drastically affects us even subconsciously. Yeah, I'm aware of that. And like, my answer to that is, you know, take breaks. If you feel like if you feel like you're, it's getting overwhelming, like, you know, take a break, go play another video game. Like for me, my de-stressors are like, you know, cozy games and things like that, or masturbating. whatever you have that makes you feel good. Like, you know, it's a good idea to go offline every now and then, you know. I mean, I can't do it as thoroughly as I used to, but because, like, you know, I mean, this isn't my job. I Vtube for fun, but, you know, if I'm gonna keep up with content, like, I have to, like, at least be paying a little bit of attention. But, you know, but like every now and then I'll take an afternoon where like I turn off Twitter, I turn off my notifications, and I just play like a single player video game or something like that. You can see escaping your thoughts or views even if you don't realize it. Do you ever worry about that? Sometimes, yeah. Like, I can understand like the whole if you're talking about like echo chambers and being into a bubble, yeah, I get that. Like, you don't want to do that. You want to get like perspectives from all sides. But that's why, like, I think Warren's such a good potential teacher, because he encourages you to think critically. But if you're talking about like subconsciously, like, you know, making yourself like more depressed or things like that, I already gave like my answer. You know, like, you know, decompress, go to other excuse me, thank you for the water, TI. Go talk about something silly. Like we're talking about something serious right now, but like my topics for later are like way sillier. Like we're gonna talk about stupid shit like marathon, or Hassan losing his shit because a VTuber kind of ruined his an upcoming interview he wanted to do. Or we can talk about like a bad movie like The Bride. The point is, like, we're not gonna always be talking about like serious things, you know. We have like little palate cleansers here and there. Oh yeah, here's another bad video game we can laugh at, you know. Why does she look like that? Pippa W. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. That's gonna be fun. But yeah, like don't worry about it. Like, I hope you're doing what you need, Zis, to take care of yourself. But don't worry about me. I'm doing all right. Anyway, let's get back into the video.
It's okay though, but this is why we do this, to learn how to think.
There's been like so in my class specifically, in our class, there's been quite a few people in there
about a bad movie.
Like, oh,
maybe we'll do that like right after like this section.
Like until today, I haven't really thought about it because I just believe.
But yeah, like this, like they came to the conclusion that J.K. Rowling isn't as much of a transphobe as everyone wants you to believe. Okay, he got fired for this. And this incident is kind of what made him famous, because he appeared on like talk shows and things like that. I think he talked to Jordan Peterson, another boogeyman, about the incident and yada yada. And again, he's doing fine now, thankfully. But I was watching him talk about this incident. Again, it was a debate between Destiny and this guy named Constantine. I didn't know about this guy until literally I saw the debate. Well, parts of it. I didn't see the whole thing. But I saw the debate, and this guy has like the patience of a saint, because holy shit, dealing with Destiny is, oh god, is an ordeal. But the issue that came up was this guy. Let's just get into it.
The Charlie Kirk killing.
This guy was sitting mere feet away from Konstantin Kisin during his debate with Destiny. When you hear what he has to say, it is scary to think how this could have gone.
I was like fucking locked onto his eyes, and he kept like glancing down at me and then like breaking eye contact.
Yeah, he's claiming that he was in the front row during this debate.
I stumbled upon this stream,
like breaking eye contact, because I fucking hate.
Did you hear what he said?
The guy, I was just like, I wanted to kill him.
Like what? What?
Stumbled upon this stream when I was just trying to research and understand the opposing view, and I was shocked by some.
And look, he's like, oh, I have my rifle, and I just wanted to pop him, like, really, even though he's in England, he can't own one.
This guy was saying. Keep in mind, this guy was sitting in Constantine's eye line,
and I think he got distracted by that and didn't pay attention to a single thing. What I think that.
Yes, it is just talk, but there is something more disturbing beneath the surface here. He's openly talking about wanting to assassinate Constantine. This could have gone very differently. He even has a box cutter or X-Acto knife.
I should have done.
Yeah, like
Stanley Blade.
What if he had that during the debate?
Stage, slash Constantine in the fucking jugular.
But he wants to kill him. You can see the chat. They're all thinking the same thing, it seems. No one seems to be bothered by this because it has become so commonplace.
Yeah, like that's like the wider issue. That this is why like I wanted to talk about this, because like there's like a speaking of dark topics, there is a wider issue where like we're not allowed to talk anymore, and it's just okay for you to just want to kill your political opponents. And it's not even opponents anymore. These are your enemies. Like they are absolute good. They are absolute evil. Therefore, it is okay that you want to like attack them and do violence upon them. And it's just so commonplace and normalized. And Arch went into it too, talking about, he watched the video as well, and he mentioned how it's kind of like part of the playbook regarding extreme, like far leftism, which is just to basically just treat your opponent as like barely better than an animal, essentially. And you always assume that they're lying, and like this is from their playbook, not like Constantine. This is like what, you know, people on Destiny side would think, like, you know, just like they're barely worth communicating with, if at all. Like a lot of it is like just don't even communicate with them, period. And always look down upon them and consider them basically just always evil. And it brings to mind what happened again, like just like towards the end of last year with Charlie Kirk and all that. And it's just like that mindset has not gone away. When that happened, when that assassination happened, I did see a lot of people like kind of wake up and say, oh, like this is not right, we shouldn't be doing this, like I don't want to be associated with these people anymore. And good, I'm glad that happened. But there's still a ton of people who still think that this is a good mindset to just like want death upon the people that you're supposed to be debating with and talking with. And you know, like in the past, it used to be a case of like, if we're having a conversation, like two political spectrums, like we both want the same thing, which is the best thing, which is we want the best for our community, our nation, or whatever. But we just have different ideas about how we're supposed to go about that. But nowadays it just feels like it's getting more and more extreme, and like I don't want to say, let's be honest, it's not both sides, it's primarily people on the left doing it, and it's just, and like Charlie Kirk was the proof of it. As we're growing up, we never introduced the idea of challenging thoughts or being critical of what's being said, mainly because it's things about our safety, so we rely on others for info. And like, that's unfortunate. Like, you should be like coming to your own conclusions, which is maybe it's a psyop. They don't want you to critically think, so they like will think for you to know about the one what to do. I know the message is late as the topic about reporting what we're hearing, what others say, but oh well. You're all good. You're all good. Yeah. Sorry, Ziz Trow. I'm sorry. I'm probably saying your name wrong, and I apologize.
He knows he can do this. YouTube's not going to do anything.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, he can just say these. This is streamed on YouTube. And no one stopped him. He was talking about all these awful things, and like he basically went. I don't know how long this guy's video was, but all these clips are just him like, making stabbing motions, or like pretending he's like gonna suplex him, or like holding up an invisible gun, and just talking about all the different ways he wanted to do harm on this guy. And YouTube, as far as I'm aware, never took down the video. Maybe it's down now. I hope. But this was 3 days ago. But like, it's just insane that like this was allowed to go on for as long as it did.
Done. Sorted. Prison forever on the one hand. And then I should have gone. Then I should have gone woke jihad. I should have gone for the white race or something. I don't know.
Like, he's even like justifying, like he's even like thinking about like, okay, so how do I like portray it so like, you know, my side doesn't get in trouble for my actions? Like, oh, I need to like pretend I'm a white supremacist, and that's why I killed him. That way, when he dies, then, you know, the investigation just can like point to like, you know, the right and say like, see, this is your fault. He was one of yours, and like he's already like making plans for how to spin it and spread information. Like, even if he goes to jail forever, or even if he's like he dies in the process. Like, this is not sane mind behavior. How do you come to these kind of conclusions? Of course, they don't want you to think. They need you smart enough to do the work and not question anything. Now we have AI, so how long before the workers are no longer needed? Yeah, maybe it is a psyop. Who fucking knows? I hope not.
You could say, oh, okay, well, he just worded that poorly. It's just an...
Also, I love his background of all these books. Like, I think this Silmarillion, he's got the Berserk mangas. I have these books, by the way. They're right over there. I need to get like a proper bookshelf. Just saying, he's got good choices. Also, Song of Ice and Fire. Those are the ones I recognize.
He takes this much farther. Then he gets into, based on what happened to Charlie Kirk, this is what I have learned when it comes to how to kill conservatives.
No, I feel like my genuine psychopath thought that I've learned from the Charlie...
Like, he admits that this is psychopath behavior, or a psychopath thought pattern, but he's like, I'm gonna still do it. Or like, I still want to like talk about it and admit that this is my thought pattern, because he thinks it's justified. And I think the only reason he didn't do it, like, is either because he didn't see an opportunity or because he's a coward.
Killing is, if you are going to assassinate a political target, then try to reduce the gore as much as possible so people can't sympathize with the bastard who's getting it.
This is fucking insane. Like, again, he's like planning it out. Like, how do I do it to reduce the fallout for my side after I do this? We need to make it so like, okay, like, again, he wants to kill him. And it's like, how do I do it so like he doesn't become a martyr? Because like, that's kind of like what Charlie Kirk became. He became a martyr after the fact. So, and if you saw the video, I saw it. It horrified me, and it actually shook. Like we were talking about, like seeing terrible things, and they make you stress out and all that. Like that stressed me out for a couple of days. Like I didn't like I play violent video games, but I don't want to see it like in real life. And then but they know that happened, but they know that kind of turned him into a martyr because people sympathized with him. And so he's coming up with this plan, like, oh, I need to make a way so that they don't sympathize with him. I gotta like make it as clean as possible.
So you'd have to go up with like a cape and like cover him in a cape and do it cleanly under there, you know, like an abattoir.
I had to.
So he's
gonna bring a cape.
Openly talking about assassinating political targets here. So the question is, well, why? That's what I wanted to understand. That's why I take the time to even look at these streams.
It's all like dog whistling. We need to secure a future for the white people.
He makes
That's not what he said.
Constantine is a racist.
I watched the debate. That's not what he fucking said.
Is
so
appealing
what's fucking
dog
background
whistling to the stupidest voters, like the dumbest 10% of people who happen to be racist as well. Stick up for racism.
But then he talks about the real problem here is the weak white culture of the UK.
We simply don't have the white people stepping up and educating themselves in the right kinds of ways because of culture issues, I guess, because of the weak white culture.
He is the very thing
is he going on about?
He thinks he is fighting against. His entire analysis.
Yeah, he's. Yeah, he's. Well,
of Constantine's ideas are absolutely mischaracterized. He's not contending with them at all, and then he uses those ideas as justification.
Yeah, like if you can skew somebody's ideas and say like, "Oh, you're just saying hateful, terrible things, and you're calling for violence. Therefore, I can justify mind violence because I completely misinterpreted what you said." And it's like, what?
Based on these fucking ideas, for me to vote for the Green candidate, you retard piece of shit, Constantine. Slap.
Oh my god.
You mug.
Well, the thing, this provides us a window into this mentality, into the psychology of people like this. It's important to understand. It's important to see.
We hadn't also at the same time had the doctrine.
A lot of this would be much easier to manage if I got on that stage, grab his fucking lapels, right? A pin.
Yeah, like most of this is just him like fantasizing
right
about.
You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking
being
about right over my head.
A fucking maniac.
Right over my head. I've got his fucking lapels. Bang.
I genuinely don't understand it. Even if you disagree with Constantine, how could what he's saying upset you this much?
You're right. By the lapels, fucking hoof. Right, I'm talking bang. And his whole body just goes bosh into the fucking wood. That's what I'm saying.
People will claim this guy doesn't have a massive reputation.
Yeah, like who cares?
See the same
he's
ideas
tiny,
reflected
he's small.
at a higher level. Literally just yesterday, I stumbled on a stream where Destiny's head moderator is trying to talk to Destiny because he is concerned, because he is seeing too many calls for violence in their Discord server, and he's beginning to worry that people aren't actually joking.
Yesterday,
yeah, like okay, this guy, the blonde guy, he doesn't matter, he's small, but okay, Destiny, he's one of the big figureheads, and this kind of dialogue comes from his community a lot. Like,
I think Destiny referred to it as like kind of school shooter vibes going on, as far as how people are talking in a way that makes people think that like not just radical and like I'm so tired of people saying like, well, Trump did radicalize me, you should be radical under Trump. I'm talking about radical as in like gonna cause violence in a way that isn't what everybody thinks it is kind of way. And I know like your argument is like, well, people like Trump and things like that, like they can say this stuff openly, and like I completely understand that argument.
Also, this guy, I'm assuming this is the moderator that's speaking. Like he comes from Destiny side, like so he kind of has his worldview. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. Like that doesn't matter. I just pointed it out. Like that's why he's like has these things. But even from their side, even from his side, Destiny side, even he is coming to the conclusion that this is getting way too out of hand.
My argument is that people aren't taking this serious, and if they are taking it serious and they are meaning the words that they're saying, and they're not joking, that is the problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Joking though.
But everybody's not joking though. My concern is that we are vastly approaching like point of no return in our own rhetoric.
Trying to like read the chat. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they're like making fun of him. Again, the guy just talking. This is a weird fucking take, but okay. Yeah, he was like, okay, so I guess there must be people who don't understand sarcasm. Okay, so like, oh, they're just joking. You're doing it. You're right. Yeah, they're basically just like making fun of him.
Rick.
So yeah, the people who are being violent in his Discord are now calling him a pussy for daring to call out them being violent
within the community, and I think that it is being furthered by us not addressing it.
I'm forced to ask myself, how is this, if YouTube is going to kick off people like we've seen them kick off, why is this tolerated?
Yeah, like why do people get kicked off for like talking like the most mundane milquetoast things ever, but this guy goes on and actively fantasizes on stream, on live stream, about wanting to kill a guy, and as far as I'm aware, nothing happened.
Thank you.
Yeah, and maybe he did got taken down eventually, but like the stream went on and it concluded like naturally.
People are going to claim, yeah, but this guy's not famous. He's not, no one really knows who he is. That's why. But how is that even relevant?
And multiculturalism, which have, instead of creating a monoculture into which people are encouraged
why are people watching
this guy? They've instead created a society in which people are encouraged to see themselves as members of an individual.
As he stands in front of like a
fails to see that he is the very thing he thinks his opponents are.
About 40 died,
right?
But this is what I hate.
Like, yeah, this guy
people,
actually
like,
has pies. You're not wrong.
Right.
I mean, that's what they mentioned in the fucking the Destiny server.
Aggressive politics and riling it up and stoking it up.
Yeah, like he's doing it again. It's like, oh, you guys are the ones being violent, therefore it's justified when I'm violent, even though there's actually nothing to justify that. There's no actual evidence.
So therefore, we should take them out because they're riling things up. They're too full of hatred, so we should hate them.
Like they said mean words, therefore we are justified in ending their lives.
And then they're like, oh, thank you for letting me discuss the ideas and ruining your fucking country with all this bullshit.
Oh, so they're ruining your country, but Constantine can't have concerns about people ruining his country.
I think that concept...
Like, it's like what I said earlier. Like, it used to be a case of like, okay, we have different ideas about what we want to do and to save our, not save, maybe not save is the correct word, but you know, like fix and like help our community and make it better. But the end goal was the same. You know, we want to do what's best for us, for our group, for everybody in our country, in our community, in our state, whatever. But now it's gotten to the state where we just can't even have a conversation, and it's fucking terrifying. You get guys like this. Like, again, like, I will commend Destiny for at least going on stage and talking. Like, I thought his form of talking was kind of fucking retarded, but at least he talked. At least he was having a mostly civil debate. But the problem is, up until this point, he's been inspiring guys like this.
Like England were created.
And then when people Destiny, like, and I'm not like just speaking of hyperbole, he's infamous for like saying that like basically Charlie Kirk deserved it and not being willing to admit that, like, hey, maybe we should tone down the temperature. But no, he'll always be like, no, it's your fault, you're the ones who are causing this, it's always this misdirect from him.
For monarchs to consolidate power in their kingdoms.
And if this continues, it will only get worse.
And this could have gone very differently. How do people get to the point of what you're saying in this video? Well, it all comes down to the laws of narrative.
He was like on...
There's always going to be people that wish you harm.
Let's go on.
You just have to learn how to spot them. And if you're interested in these concepts, I do have a book coming out in August.
Oh, yeah, this is an interesting like plug-in at the very end. I want this book though. I actually do. I'll let Warren
worked on
explain
this
it.
for 2 years. I began writing it when I was still a high school teacher. It's meant to be more of a methodology. The reality is we have opponents every day. Want it to be that kind of book that people carry around in their bag and it's like wrinkled up because they're using it and it's all marked up with annotations.
I want it.
and
I want this book.
It examines the law.
Because like I legitimately want to become a good debater or conversationalist at the very least. And I think it starts with becoming a better critical thinker. And I think this is something that I should have. And like I kind of want to carry it around like the way he suggests, like have it in my bag constantly and be constantly checking in on it. Like, okay, I just talked to this person and I didn't portray my ideas very correctly. Let's see, what could I have done better and things like that. And like, okay, highlight there and yada yada yada. But that's why I was kind of drawn to Warren in the first place. No, I'm not. Oh, I'm more of a masturbator, if you know what I mean. I mean, what? Your good voice acting might bring you. I hope so.
Narrative.
I imagine it'll be out by the end of this year.
In this video, the lessons I've found.
Anyway, thanks, Guru.
I'll put the link below if you're interested.
Guru Kami. I haven't done any fucking debates though. Anyway, that was that, and it just like, I don't know. It kind of like shook me up. It didn't shake me up, you know what I mean. But it was just like a reminder. It's like things have not gotten better since the Kirk assassination, and like there are still fucking crazies out there, and arguably maybe some people have gotten even worse since then. And like again, we can have our ideas, we can disagree, but I think at the end of the day we're supposed to all want the same thing, which is a better life for everybody. But at the same time, it's gone from like debating about what is the best path to that to I just need to kill you because my path is better by default. I decided. And then like justifications for it, like your speech is hateful, hate speech causes violence, therefore I must respond in violence. And then that other thing of like, oh, they don't call you a Nazi because you're a Nazi. They call you a Nazi so they can justify hurting you. And all this other like terrible, awful things. Like it's scary, I guess is the best way to put it. Is it still going? Good. Okay. Anyway, I promise that's the last like super deep topic for today. I don't even know why I had Arsha. We didn't even like reference him. Let's talk about a bad movie instead. The Bride, if anyone knows about this one. Let me get to your chats first. It's partially response to how we glorify killers, turning it into a fantasy, how emotions speak over logic, mainly contributed from the side versus size instead of what's best. To protect limits on YouTube, real talks. No worries. I get what you're trying to say. But yeah, you're right. There is like, I mean, we've always had like a problem of like we all know about like serial killers who have like groupies who want to fantasize about them while they're in prison for serial killing. So like there is like that's a problem too. Like I think that's like a separate issue, but like you know it's kind of like indicative a little bit of the mindset of like how everyone is kind of fucking insane. It's just a little bit, and not really like thinking properly. What the hell is this? Sparu? Oh, okay. Haven't watched the movie in a while. Episodic memories don't help. That's probably true. I mean, some of them are okay. I think the Liquidators one about Chernobyl was alright, but other ones, anyway. But yeah, what the hell is this? Things are going really bad regarding like anime sites getting shut down and yada yada. Anyway, let's talk about a bad movie. Okay. Now, guys, if you haven't heard about this one, this movie, I literally didn't hear about this movie until after it bombed. But it's called The Bride, and basically what it is, it's like a retelling of Frankenstein's Monster's Bride. And it's a very modern, very feminist, very cringy take on the Frankenstein story. And apparently the director argues that this is what Mary Shelley would have wrote if she had been allowed to back in the day, which is insane. But let's just get like a little taste of what the movie itself is about, because like you guys might not even know about it, because like this kind of came out of nowhere. And like I said, I didn't even know about it until it was already failing.
Does come at you fast, dear viewer. 1 minute you're a multi-millionaire actress who hit the wall so hard that I'm still not sure who took more damage from the impact, bemoaning the lack of opportunities for...
They always cast some hot actor to play the serial killers. That doesn't help. You're not wrong. Oh, you meant for like the Netflix thing? Yeah.
Easy performative victim points. The next minute, your own $90 million
real localizer language. Wait, what?
Directorial effort absolutely bombs in its opening weekend, gets obliterated by critics, and literally causes mass walkouts from audiences who couldn't believe the gigantic steaming pile of cat shit you would...
Yeah, I heard that somebody went to see this. There were only like 8 people in the theater, and 3 of them walked out before the movie was even done.
Inflicted on them. The Bride, or to give it the correct title, The Bride, is already a strong contender for the worst movie.
By the way, I love Credit Card Drinker. He's hilarious.
And I don't mean so far.
There's a language. I don't really localize this type of take. Oh, from the... I mean, from me? What did I say? Or are we talking about something else?
Either. I mean, when I compose my best and worst list at the end of December, I'm pretty sure this loud, obnoxious, lurid, poorly written, horribly acted...
Oh, you mean the, Oh, the synopsis of the movie. Yeah. That's what you mean. Yeah, it's basically, it's like, what if you're right. Like, what if Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was an anime, and then you gave it to a localizer, and then they completely ruined it? That's basically what this movie is. You're not wrong. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good way of putting it. They only cost actors in this day and age, and that's one of the reasons why we see standards so much higher and realistic. I mean, to be fair, you kind of want like attractive characters. For the sake of entertainment, I don't mind at all like having attractive characters. Like, that's perfectly fine. But if you're like doing like a documentary, you probably want somebody who looks as close to the original person as possible.
Frantically directed 2 hours of pure narcissistic incompetence is going to be a top contender for the drinker's naughty list. Everything bad that you've heard about this movie is 100% true and more. It is one of the most unashamedly terrible films I've seen since Section 31, and apart from soaking away your troubles in a hot tub full of bleach...
yeah, I was like, Section 31. That's that Star Trek movie that came out early last year. Which is, oh my god, that was so bad.
It might be one of the most unpleasant ways to spend 2 hours of your life that I can think of. Let's get this shit over with quickly, because every second wasted on this thing is a second I'm never gonna get back. The movie opens with a disjointed monologue from the ghost of Mary Shelley. Yes, we're deep into pretentious art house territory with this one. Complaining about the story of Frankenstein's bride that she never got to write because the patriarchy...
Yeah, it's so fucking stupid. Like, they're like... The director's interpretation is that Mary Shelley, this is the story she would have written if she had the chance, which is just so pretentious and fucking disrespectful too, because of like, she wrote her work and she put a lot of time and effort and meaning into that work, the actual Frankenstein, and you're basically saying she was wrong. This is so...
You sure about that? You sure
also, welcome,
So
Kit Laser.
She does the sensible thing and projects her ghost into
Straightest shit I've seen all day. What do you mean, the movie?
Body of a woman named Ida, and immediately
I know better than the creator. Yep, yeah. Like Moon was right on the money when he compared it to anime localizer mentality. Yeah. I mean, the title is fun to say at least. The Bride.
Bullshit.
That's the only thing fun about it.
Speaker. Her indiscretions provoke the anger of a local mob boss who has her escorted out of the building by the quickest possible route, which in this case turns out to be a speed run down a flight of stairs. Oh dear. Probably shouldn't have started divulging his most intimate secrets in a crowded room. Hey. Meanwhile.
Oh, sorry about that, Zistrow. Yeah, the I think YouTube chat is actually very slow for some reason. I don't know why. It's always been on the slower side. I hope you don't mind too much. A good actor overlooks. What makes the content enjoyable, at least, is the acting and the ability to immerse you and about the storytelling. I mean, yeah, for sure. The problem is this is none of that. This is all the worst of it.
Shows up at the offices of a local
Read Frankenstein over 10 years, but it's fine for me. Yeah, like it's a good book. It's like often cited as like the first sci-fi novel of all time.
Just like in the original book, he's looking for a female companion to ease his loneliness, if you catch my drift. Oh, you dirty monster, you. I mean, I'm not entirely sure why it's taken him over 100 years to reach this conclusion, but whatever. Let's just not think about that. He's surprised to find that the scientist in question is a woman who published under a man's name because the patriarchy forced her to do it, even though by the late 1930s, a number of female scientists had already achieved widespread recognition, but let's not worry about that when the movie has a message to get across. Science Lady is eventually persuaded to create a bride for the monster, who she names Frank. And by eventually, I mean after like 3 minutes of screen time, but fuck it, let's just keep going. All they need to make their plan work is a dead body. And well, I think you can see where this is leading. Pretty soon, Ida's been jolted with electricity and reanimated, complete with the possessed ghost of Mary Shelley on board, and Frank goes to work trying to seduce her.
Yeah, for some reason Mary Shelley is in the body now.
And decides to hit a local nightclub instead. Not a dance hall, mind you, or a jazz bar, or a fucking jitterbug aquarium, but a straight up nightclub that looks like it came straight out of 2026, complete with strobe lighting and modern day dance music.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, is this supposed to be a period piece or not?
The local patrons get a bit handsy with the bride, which forces Frank to step in and save her ungrateful arse by curb stomping the shit out of them. And the whole thing gets caught on camera because golly gee whiz, people are always bringing massive flashbulb mechanical cameras on nights out with them.
It's supposed to be like in the 30s, right?
A kind of Bonnie and Clyde situation after that, with Frank and the
There's no Bride of Frankenstein movie is fine. That movie's over 80 plus years. I mean, like, so far it's the only one that's good.
And the mob boss who saw the photo of the nightclub fight and is a little bit surprised to find that Ida's still alive.
That's why I'm speaking about
this is happening, the
whole previous topics. I've seen a streamer have YouTube chat be almost instant, so I'm not sure what's up with this. I mean, I multi-stream. I'm also on Twitch and Kick right now, so that might be causing the delay. I don't know. I've seen some people who were able to like chat almost instantly, and some people like you having issues where it's like delayed. So I'm not sure. Maybe like refresh the stream. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. Not sure.
Rise up against
the jitterbug club. Like, sounds cute.
A speech the bride gave at a fancy cocktail
something he made up, probably.
Standoff with the police. Oh man, it's like a shitty knockoff of Joker. Eventually, both.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people compare this to the Joker, specifically the second one. You know, the bad one.
He's tracked them down to a drive-in movie theater where Frank gets killed in the crossfire. So the bride takes his body to Science Lady to reanimate him, but she's like, "Nah, it'll be fine." But then the mob guys break in and shoot the bride, but that's okay because Mary Shelley's ghost decides to step in and possesses Science Lady this time, so she can bring them both back to life and live happily ever after.
Is that just the end?
Right. Jesus fuck mothering Christ, I have seen a lot of crappy movies in my time.
It doesn't let us say
I've seen many that are so completely determined to waste such an insane amount of money and talent. Just like the monster it's based around, the bride, sorry, the bride! Feels like a bunch of disjointed and partly decomposed body parts awkwardly stitched together. Part gothic romance, part surrealist comedy, part feminist empowerment fantasy, part period drama, and part experimental art house flick. It's desperately trying to be a bit of everything without understanding how or why these things work, or what it even hopes to achieve by doing any of it. This kind of schizophrenic scattershot approach would have been just fine if this was some micro-budget film school project with a bunch of unknown actors, but let's face it, it's not.
This is like a $25 million movie, something like that.
Travesty cost $90 million.
Never mind, I really undersold it. I'm sorry.
Of most high-level directors, Christian Bale, Peter Skarsgård, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Annette Bening, and it's all for nothing because the script and direction are complete dog shit. I mean, what kind of absolute lunatics?
Apparently, it struggled just to break 1 million.
Christian Bale, for example, is a superb
1/90th
actor,
of their
but
budget.
Holy fuck, you would never know it from this film. He spends about 90% of his screen time yelling every single line of dialogue at the top of his lungs, like he has no idea what he's supposed to be doing and just decided, screw it, I'm gonna go full retard with this one. Annette Bening talks and acts like she walked in from a completely different movie, and I can't say I blame her, to be honest. She probably wishes she was in one. The only good thing I can say about the performances is that, well, Jessie Buckley's pretty entertaining. Not because she puts depth and nuance into her character, but she definitely swings for the fences, that's for sure. The emotional tone, style, and cinematography swerves wildly from surreal dance numbers to incoherent monologues to attempts at dark pathos and romance to wannabe edgy action scenes, to the point where I actually started to wonder if the whole thing was some bizarre social experiment. The feminist empowerment overtones of this film are about as subtle as a rainbow-coloured chainsaw, and as tired and trite as every other movie that tries to pull crap like this in 2026. Honestly, you'd think from this movie that it was still 2017. And
oh yeah, and for some reason, like their mark of like resistance is like a black tongue. Interesting choice. It does feel like some film school student put this movie through and was like, "This is my time." That's the thing, though. Like, this is an actual. We'll get into like the director and like how this movie was funded in the next video, because like it's such a case of what's it called, nepotism, as well as you know, checking all the boxes, therefore you got all the approval and all the money, even though you weren't able to like give us any of what any actual results.
In their rage, real or imagined, and forcing the world to hear what they have to say with some exciting new concepts. Trust me, it fucking isn't. We've heard everything they have to say for like a decade now, whether we wanted it or not, and we've reached the conclusion that most of it isn't worth listening to. You know, it's actually kind of interesting that we've had two major films based on Mary Shelley's book in the past 6 months. One was a visually sumptuous, poignant, tragic, beautifully written, and superbly acted.
I still haven't seen Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, and I really do need to watch it.
Story of ambition, loss, vengeance, and hope that treated the source material with respect and reverence. The other was a brash, loud, abrasive, mindless exercise of ego and vanity that shouts in your face without saying anything meaningful and squanders the impressive talent and resources that
it's appropriate that like it's just shouting. Like it literally, the movie is just shouting. I mean, it's the exclamation point in the title.
Written and directed by a man, and the other was The Bride. And if you're looking for an answer to why
yeah, that's the director, by the way. I forgot her name, but well,
more female directors don't get a chance in Hollywood, Maggie. You only need to lay
Maggie,
eyes on your own creation. Anyway, that's all I've got.
Anyway, look, this is her like having an interview talking about how important her film is, despite the fact that it's not going to make any money. Anyway, let's get into the actual, like, a little bit more of a breakdown of it.
I think Maggie Gyllenhaal has basically said explicitly this is...
Okay, so, God, this is like a really stupid pet peeve, but like, whenever Platoon comes onto like guest shows and things like that, he has like his own VTube model. It's such a shitty VTube model. The mouth doesn't move at all. Something's wrong with it.
Well, she has Mary Shelley's character.
But then again, he has way more subscribers than me, so clearly one of us is doing better.
I couldn't tell, and I think she's confirmed in interviews. Just like she wanted to imagine the kind of story Mary Shelley would have been able to tell were it not for the societal conventions that oppressed her.
That is such a stupid fucking take. It's so insulting to Mary Shelley. Oh my god, I don't know what else I can say it.
Which is like, but I think you fundamentally misunderstand who she was. I don't think you've actually read the book she wrote or anything that she wrote. Never mind just the works of fiction. She did that. That was what Frankenstein already was. It was already bold and daring and innovative. Both versions, even the slight, because like you have the 1818 one, which is very sort of, it's like the Byronic hero. It's the romantic period. It's very centered on individual choices, agency, the things people do. Which to a degree they are dictated by the society in which they live, and she mounts several very potent, not always correct, but very powerful critiques of the society in which she lived. She wasn't constrained from doing that at the time. Then 1831 is like it tries to blend more of that Enlightenment rationalism and almost fatalism, some of the like personal choices de-emphasized, and it's very much about how mechanistic determinism seems to predetermine certain choices. But again, still bold, revolutionary, because then you're sort of trying to counter the preconceived ideas of what morality even is. Very, very revolutionary stuff. There's a reason the book has resonated throughout history for such a very long time. She wasn't stopped from doing any of this. And now along comes Maggie Gyllenhaal saying, oh, well, if she was free, she might have been able to write something brilliant like The Bride.
God, it was... What was the word that Drinker used in the past video on his little mini review that was like appropriate? It's so fucking narcissistic to think that this is what she would have done if she only had the choice. Like, I'm really, and she shows that that's what she believes in, because like she has the ghost of Mary Shelley in the story itself. It's just so, again, it's just narcissistic. Like I know better than this like long dead, long celebrated offer from ages past. The Hyatt. Oh god, this. Could your head be even any bigger?
Fuck off. What are you talking about?
I want to know what Mary Shelley thinks of this movie. So we'll go find her.
Oh god, she'd be spinning in her grave so hard you could turn her into a dino.
I hope she doesn't find out that this exists.
It is depressing.
Oh, here you go, Tia.
Maggie Gyllenhaal interview here, actually.
Hope you enjoy.
Thank
you for the routine.
It's fun, actually, for a little bit of
just screaming.
How do you even describe it? Classic Hollywood delusion. Let's just see what she's got to say about this.
Losing it
about this moment, because on the one hand,
yeah, there it is. Oh my god, there it is. There it is. They can't. He lives in their head rent free.
All these interesting, films come out just this year. Chloe Zhao with Hamnet, Lynn Ramsey with Die My Love, Kristen Stewart with The Chronology of Water.
Everyone watched that classic, The Chronology of Water by Kristen Stewart. I hope you did.
No. Oh god.
I'm sure it was.
Kristen Stewart made a movie.
But on the other hand, there's only 8% of films that were made by women. Mm-hmm. And that's a 7-year low. Mm. I mean, what do you think that says?
I'm thinking about whether to say this.
Say it.
I think
Think about whether to say. She's acting like she's being so brave right now. Like, oh my god, I can't say anything because I'm gonna get in trouble. Oh my god, like bitch. I won't say it just yet. Give me a second.
Like when we make little movies, cute, or like go make your little movie, starts to get dangerous.
It's dangerous. She's trying to imply that, like, wait. Let's the thought.
When women have their hands on a lot of money.
Huh?
Yeah, she's trying to imply that, like, when female directors get the money for like their ideas and yada yada, like, oh my god, they're challenging the norms, and they're gonna like push out the agendas, and like they're being rebels, and that's dangerous. We can't have these ideas out there. That's why I called her a bitch. Like, bitch, your ideas have been front and center and shoved down our throats for the past 10 years.
I mean, I'm sorry, I do have to stop it there for a moment.
And like, you know what? She is right. She is right. It is dangerous when women like her get a lot of money because she burns it.
It's pretty accurate.
Didn't that happen multiple times with Marvel? They just gave like hundreds of millions of dollars to women who had never directed movies before. And then that is
correct. It is dangerous to give money to stupid people because they're gonna waste it.
Like Chloe Zhao was a good example, where she'd done like Nomadland, which was like a no-budget Z-list picture, which was essentially just a woman driving around.
She's so proud of herself. Just look at her.
It's a perfectly fine movie. It did well at the Oscars though, and so Chloe Zhao suddenly became like a perfect candidate for Marvel's diversity program, because it's like you've got an award-winning director. She did well at the Oscars and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, where it's like it's just nepotism. Like they're talking about a different director. She was the director who made the Marvels, which was, oh god, if you remember the Marvels, oh god, that was a great movie. But like she got it because she made a small film, they liked it, then she made a bigger film, it won all the awards, and then they're like, okay, now we're gonna give you tons of money because you're diverse, you're a woman, and they loved you at the Oscars, even though the Oscars is a fucking ass patting convention where they always pick the movie that checks the most boxes and that like talks about social issues and spirits the message.
She's a woman,
and then eventually they're put in charge of like a really big movie like the Marvels. Again, this is Disney money. Like how much was the Marvels? What was it? Budget. What was the fucking budget of the Marvels? $274.8 million reduce. No. Okay, this one says even higher. 374. Freedom Eagles. Holy shit. How much did it make? How much did it gross? Oh yeah, here's the director, by the way. Gross box office. It only made 206 million. Didn't even make back its money. Holy shit. This was an absolute failure. They can't even give me a proper blow up. That was the director, by the way. She checked all the boxes. So they gave her a ton of money, and then she wasted it all.
She's ethnically diverse. Perfect. Let's put her in charge of like a $250 million ensemble superhero.
Okay, hold on. What were you saying? Someone was saying something. They don't like women having power, says high position side. Yeah, she is so convinced that she is the rebel, that she's the underdog. When people like her have been on top of the world for as long as I've been. Oh, God, not since probably as long as I've been alive, actually, yeah. Then there are movies that people like directed by women, such as American Psycho, A Dangerous Body. Yes, there are good movies by women. Like it's not a case that women can't make good movies. Like that's not the case. That's not what we're saying. That's not what I'm saying. The problem is that people like her are making movies. Because they're not making entertainment, they're making fluff pieces. They're making stories to make themselves feel good. And then they're surprised when nobody cares. How much longer do you think you'll be streaming for tonight? Probably not too long because I need to set up a presentation. So I don't want to go too long, but I said 3 hours, so it's like 30 minutes from now. That was like my hard limit. We'll see if I keep within my promise. There's always a privileged people acting like they're really to the disadvantage. I don't know. This woman has seen more money in like one day than I probably have seen in my entire life. And yet she's gonna try to talk to people like us and tell us that she's the one who's suffering.
And just expect her to pull something together. And
was she in a Batman movie? I don't know. Let me see. I think she has been an actress. Let me see. The Bride. Director. Nope. Maggie Yao. I think she has been an actor before. Oh, she was in The Dark Knight. Okay, what roles has she had? Why do I care? I guess I'm just answering what your question. Okay, she's been all the way back since the 90s. Early 90s, man. Why did it listed horror films? Oh yeah, you gotta get that presentation done. Yeah, I know. I'll work on it. It shouldn't take too long. It'll take like 30 minutes, but I don't want to like stay up too late working on it. She wasn't there. Yeah, she directed, wrote, and produced it. Damn. Elizabeth Z. Oh, she voiced the goth chick from Monster House. This one. What the fuck? I didn't. Now that's a blast from the past. I wasn't expecting. Okay, the 3D art style looks really bad now, but I remember thinking she was hot when I was a kid, when this movie came out. I mean, make her an anime girl. She's actually a lot better now. Anime's timeless. Okay. You said she was in The Dark Knight, right? Rachel Dawes. Oh, she was the love interest. Damn. Damn. Okay. She was fucking Batman. I mean, good for her. Like I thought. Okay, I think she's a competent actor. Like honestly, like I'm being kind. Like I'm not. No, I'm not even being kind. I'm being honest. Like I think she's a competent actress. She's just an idiot.
The director got lost in the product because you can't go from a little low budget indie flick to
I'll even say she's a good actress.
Action heavy superhero movie and expect to be able to transition. It doesn't work like that.
What happened? Okay. Shit. Turn that off. Shut up. I haven't seen Monster House, but heard it's a decent film. It's alright. It's like a decent little like children's film. It's okay. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but like if you grew up on it like I did, like it's like a good little like you know, whatever, turn your brain off, watch kind of movie. Insert Ricky Gervais voice. Who's Ricky Gervais? I feel like I should know that. Gervais. Oh, this guy. Oh yeah. You're talking. Yeah. You're right about his. I know what you're talking about. No. Go back.
But it's the kind of insulting thing because I think Maggie Gyllenhaal has basically
than actually like having any kind of artistic merit of their own.
I know you're talking about his.
They get absorbed into the system. They get
his little
their
speech.
Product gets forced through the Marvel machine, and then you get
this
movie
one.
at the end of it. They're just there to put their name.
Yeah, this little speech of his. Oh my god, it went on for 8 minutes. I'm kind of surprised. Uncensored.
Al Pacino, Robert De Niro.
I don't know why my browser's like lagging so goddamn much. Also, hello, Rishi Bacha. Hey.
Oh, that's Joe Pesci. Sorry. Maybe next year. Let's see what he's doing, hanging around theme.
Where is it?
Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg.
Yep.
Started a streaming service. Don't use it as a platform to make
Yeah.
a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your god, and fuck off. Okay?
He's still fucking real for this. He's still so fucking right. He's still right. I think the recent Golden Globes, he put a Twitter post out and he's like, they still haven't learned, something like that. He's still right. he's never wrong. And like, okay, and then like this, you know, the Golden Globes, whatever. It's a fucking like Oscars, Golden Globes, whatever. It's all just like political. It's just narcissists patting each other on the ass. Like it's just a show where like they're all like, you know, like yucking each other up. That is relatively harmless though, because you know, like it's a one-time event. You know, they're just accepting awards, they're being annoying, but whatever, who cares? But then you give them tons of fucking money and then they waste it doing the same exact thing
on it. And yeah, they did that.
Understandable. It's late, so I think I'm gonna hop off myself. Okay, this no worries. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it.
Times,
and I'm sorry for the delay on YouTube. I know it's a little
Black
awkward,
Widow.
but thank you for bearing with it.
Oh,
Have a good night.
Yeah. Kate Shortland again.
Good enough. If you wanna, I don't really just add people on Discord, but you are welcome to join on the Discord, on my Discord. It should be in the social links beneath the video. There should be a Discord link, and you're always welcome to join. And like I'm there. You can chat with me, and I promise I try to like respond to everyone whenever I can.
A director with some experience, but it was all just low budget, small movies.
I usually don't just take friends.
Dramas, that sort of thing. You can't then put someone like that in charge.
It's estimate support socials, but it should also be in the description of the video.
Espionage superhero flick.
It's just a basic project. Yeah,
basically. Make sense of it. That doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I like to call it the ass patting ceremony, but you know that's just.
It'd be like putting What it'd be like putting like a yacht skipper in charge of a super tanker or a aircraft carrier and saying like, right, go.
What the fuck are they talking about?
Just do it. It doesn't work like that.
You know what you're saying? You're saying is a tiny percentage, but look at how many of those movies were movies that made an impact. Like if you've had
Did they though?
your mouth shut.
I didn't even know about any of those
For
movies
so
until I
long.
saw this interview. I didn't even know Kristen Stewart made a movie until I saw this interview. Like, she did? How badly did it go?
Almost like a geyser, like having your hand on something. Well, when it bursts, it's going to come out really powerfully and with a lot of energy.
Oh my
And
god. Oh my god.
I mean, again, I could be wrong. I don't get.
Also, I love the
impression that,
analogy that
say,
Platoon's
women
gonna come
in
up with
Hollywood
here.
are necessarily told to shut their mouths and not speak up. I get the impression they do.
Yeah, it's not true at all. She's just so full of it. She wants to be a victim so fucking badly, and pretending that everyone is shutting her down constantly. She's not allowed to speak. And so when she finally gets her chance, when she finally gets the money to do what she wants, it just comes out so violently and true and majestic, like Old Faithful at Yellowstone or something
The
like that.
opposite nowadays, and they have done for
And
quite
it's so
a few
beautiful,
years
and there's
now.
like rainbows coming off of it.
But counterpoint, all of the female characters in The Bride did have to do that, which I think is the point that she wants to make. She's decided that that's the way that women in all walks of life have to behave, I guess.
I mean, if that's her perspective, then fair enough. It's just,
Yeah, I guess,
when
like,
we
in the
look at
movie, that's technically
landscape
what
of
happened.
Hollywood and what you hear.
But
from
this is
the
like about
public
her.
point of
This is
view,
about
it seems to be
her-
the exact opposite. But
what
it's
she
like, I
thinks
don't
she's
know,
going through.
Either she doesn't care, or perhaps lives in a bubble where that doesn't exist, or like according to my theory, like she's actually been cryogenically frozen since about 2017 and is just not aware of anything that's happened in the past 10 years. I think that's equally
Like, that's a thing. Like, this movie feels like it's from like around the time of like the female Ghostbusters movie.
plausible at this point.
It's
but
also just a like failure to update your assumptions, because the problem is most activist people of virtually every persuasion have this same problem. Like, so many of the things that they complain about were solved 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. You have the same
Yeah.
thing with like LGBT activists, and the same
Yeah,
thing
and
with
Platoon's gay, by the way. Like, and I'm bi too, so like I can tell you, we're fine. We're doing okay. We're not being hunted in the streets, I swear.
feminist activists as well. Their entire reason for being like all of their
And if
friends
someone is coming after me, you know, I have the right to self-defense.
preference to be a bold visionary, to be a radical.
Good
to be
luck
a
if you come after
revolutionary who
me.
makes positive
Like,
social
it's
change.
not-
you have
it's
to
not
be
that
able
bad.
to upset the norm in which you live. You have to be able to make an impact. You have to subvert. You have to. And there was once a time when that was useful and valuable, and it created some.
All right,
really,
Ziz, have a good
brilliant
night.
stories because
Catch
there
another
was
one of your
actually
streams sometime
something
soon.
to
You have a
be
good rest in your stream.
attacked.
Enjoy
So there was
watching
a
the stream.
position
All right,
that you had
thank
to take.
you.
It took
Have
some
a good one.
courage and it took some imagination, and you had to be able to tell a brilliant story that would resonate with people in order partly to convince them.
Hope to see you
You
again.
haven't really had to do that as a gay person or as a woman for at least 30 years, more like 60 realistically.
Yeah,
But
within our lifetimes, like I'm pretty confident. Unless one of you guys is like in your 70s and you didn't tell me, I'm pretty sure within our lifetimes, none of you or none of us have had to deal with like these terrible, awful social conditions that this woman thinks she's living through.
their ideal for what the purpose of their art is still the same. We have to be revolutionary.
Being
Against
oppressed
Washington
now
Law
because I
Writers.
say so. Oh
That
no!
is nothing. And so she
I
says,
should go
well,
with my
when
go
you've
into
been
the
denied a voice
gay
for so long, you know,
the gay
pressure
jail where I
builds up,
belong.
which is an analogy
Okay.
that works just as well with a toilet you bend as it does with a
Where all the
geezer.
gays belong.
Like, but then, like, what does she have to say
Both
when
are
her
full
mouth
of
is
shit, ultimately.
Yes, well, yeah, they are. But like, when she's finally,
finally
allowed
got
to open her
that.
mouth, what does she have to say? And the answer is nothing, as is evidenced by the bride, because there's nothing to be rebelling against. She won. Women are like, you have diversity quotas mandating 50% of
being
women on
white
virtually
count.
every corporate board.
I actually recently saw a post that it was actually very recent. There was a study of Facebook had like an anti-hate speech algorithm thing, but they found out that 90% of all hate speech was being directed. Let me see if I can find it. Percent of these going to white people. What was it? Facebook. Let me see if I can find this article. Internal documents and research from Meta, Facebook indicate that at one point, roughly 90% of content that Facebook that the automated tools proactively removed as hate speech was directed at white people and men. Where is that article? I need to find like the actual. Yeah, it's from like 2021. I think this was like it just like resurfaced recently. Yeah, this is like an actual house.gov. It's from 2021 too. This is like, you know, the other guy. So, according to the study, you're if as a guy, you're more likely to get hate speech. At least on Facebook. I mean, to be fair, again, okay, it's just on Facebook. Like, we don't know what's going on in real life. I don't know if there's any real numbers, but
like, what more do you?
Come on, you know it's not racist with white people. You're right, man. I'm sorry, I forgot. You can't be racist to white people. I'm so stupid. Thank you for reminding me.
You need to achieve.
Yeah.
And because there isn't anything they're really trying to achieve,
seriously, if you like people who actually believe that is so fucking stupid. I got into a fight with a professor when I was still in university, and this lady who actually kind of looks similar to this lady, just blonde and have glasses. Again, white liberal woman who got after me for suggesting that racism can go towards white people too, and she fucking lost it on me. Needless to say, I didn't finish that course. I left as soon as I could. I still feel kind of bad about it because, you know, my parents were helping me get through university, but still, like, I could not stand this woman. And I wasn't nearly as I was outspoken as a kid, and I was like 19. I was outspoken as a young adult, as if I'm old. But then I wasn't like super articulate with my language and debate skills and things like that. So like I couldn't really argue her, even though then as in now I know she was wrong.
Just trying to lap the same revolution.
So I didn't even bother.
Their ancestors.
And to be fair, there was no way I was gonna win. She gave out my grades. If she could have just decided to fail me, and considering how vitriolic and unstable she came off, I wouldn't be surprised if she just gave me an F out of spite. Like she came off as that kind of person. I can only hope that she's no longer working with students, but that's like a pipe dream. I don't know.
He had to fight. They're just left in this weird, awkward position where, as she's
I bitched about that woman a lot to my girlfriend at the time.
And being completely
she knew her very, very well.
She's in this position now because she already won that fight, or people better than her won that fight, and now she's trying to live up to them, and there's nothing left to do.
Yep.
Scathing.
Yeah, see, it's stolen valor. She wants to be the revolutionary, the advocate, what was it? The suffragette, women's oh fuck, what was it called? No, that's surgery. You know what I mean? Like the ones who like gave like the vote to women and all that. She wants to be that, but no, it was done. Suffragettes. Yes, thank you, Moon. I'm sorry, I'm fucking retarded. But yeah, she wants to be the hero. Like to put it simply. But that happened. That was before she was even born. But she wants to be it so badly, so she's gonna create the problem or pretend there's a problem so that she can make herself to be the hero to it.
If what's happening culturally is gonna.
I wish I had gone to trade school. I wish I had gone to trade school. If I could go back, I would have become like a welder or a carpenter or a mechanic because fuck.
I'll say one thing about this. It's gonna bring like an unstoppable.
I'm still working on finding something for my degree.
Response, maybe especially from women. I will.
It's going to be unstoppable, guys. Hold on to your hats.
Here it comes.
It's going to rock.
Hold on to your seats, guys. Hold on. Lock it.
Say, and I don't know if I've said this out loud before. Again, maybe I'll get in trouble.
Oh, she's gonna get in trouble, guys. Oh my god. Oh god, here it comes. Get ready.
But
This is when they do the classic like, I might get in trouble
Get
for
to your
this.
seats.
It might cost me opportunities, but I'm gonna bash the orange man.
Is she
They were hardcore. They ran onto a horse track, racing tracks to raise awareness, got mowed down by horses. Holy shit. Like, this woman's a coward. She would never do something like that. But she's got to pretend that she's just as brave. Like right now, like, oh my god, guys, I might get in trouble for saying this. But I'm gonna say it anyway because I'm so brave.
Is she about to say something that 99% of Hollywood would agree with?
You can feel
Well,
you can
hold
feel
on
the
then.
pretentiousness.
Let's just find out, shall we?
I actually think that when I really became a director,
The way she's looking off to the side, it's like she's like holding back tears.
was actually, I think, the first time that the morning that Trump was first elected. I think I
Ugh. She said it. She fucking said it. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's always the same fucking thing. She's so strong and brave though. Oh god. You know, she's not. This movie bombed so fucking hard. She wasted like $90 million. She's likely not gonna get another director role for a very long time. And she's gonna point to this interview and she's gonna say, that's why I lost my opportunities. Because I spoke out. Not because I failed. Not because I left behind a burning wreck behind me. No. It's because I was brave and I spoke up. And I dared call out the orange man. You know that's what's gonna happen, right? We're gonna see an interview like in a few months or maybe even a few weeks or something like that. And she's gonna be like, I am out of the job because I angered the wrong people. And you know what? To an extent, she'll be right. She angered the fucking treasurer. Or like whoever runs the money. The accountant. She angered the accountants. That's who she made angry.
Like,
Brought to you to
I have a lot more to say than I've been saying.
Oh god.
She's so fucking brave. New York Times. I'm not. Why am I not surprised?
But what? What do you
Stunning,
have
so
to say?
brave.
Why?
So stunning
It
and
would be like
brave.
me going online and said, "Look, I know this is going to be controversial. I know I'm probably
be
gonna
so
lose followers for
controversial.
this, but chocolate biscuits are really tasty." It's such a shitty, like, you know.
And I love how the interview cuts there. It's just like, oh my god, that was such a powerful moment. We got cut. We can't talk anymore. We said what needed to be said.
With leftist starter pack.
Oh my
comment to
god,
make,
I'm
like,
crying,
pretending
but it's from
this bold
laughing.
Statement that like, ooh, could get me in trouble.
Yeah,
Really
Oh my god, like I'm actually crying a little
declaring
bit
that you hate onions.
because
All right,
it's so
that's
stupid.
where the real gold is.
Oh my
Hey,
god.
Like, hey, Rags is entitled to go full retard on that one. It's fine.
You know,
What's that? What?
Platoon can offer is, you know, educated dissertation and critique involving history and references. I will instead offer a Simpsons reference. Okay,
I'm just gonna call her an idiot. Use
Equally
colorful
valid
language.
caller. Do you remember the
We're going to talk
Halloween
about this time
episode?
in history, like they survived the regime. You're right. You're fucking right. By next, by the next election, people are gonna be like, "Oh my god, it was so fucking awful." You're right. They're gonna write about this like this is like it was a fucking regime. I had this thought too. Like, what are they gonna complain about afterwards? They need to find another boogeyman because Trump has been their boogeyman for the past like 10 years, since like 2015, 2016. I feel like they're gonna be so lost without him. It's like a love story. Like it's like a tsundere. Like the left is the tsundere, Trump is the God, I mean so stupid. Is the handsome anime pro tag. And like he's gonna go away and he's not gonna come back. And like what are they gonna get? What are they gonna do? Like I feel like they have to find something else to complain about. Because that's their whole playbook at this point, and I don't think they're gonna be able to switch on a dime and just decide, okay, like let's be normal again. If they ever were normal, I don't know. I didn't become particularly aware of politics until like around that era myself. But I'm just wondering, like, what's gonna happen? Like, are they gonna like keep evoking, like, like the ghost of MAGA? Like, I mean, they do that with Gamergate, right? Like the ghost of the shadow of Gamergate still looms over us. Like, I've still seen articles like in the past like 1 or 2 years referencing Gamergate. So, I mean, they might do it with Trump and MAGA. Just decide like, oh, it's still an issue. Like, you know, like we still feel the effects even 20 years afterwards. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see the transitional period, and I imagine it's gonna be a long one. What will the late night show joke about now? I don't know. I don't even know at this point.
Where all the mascots come alive and start killing everybody, and Marge says if Homer just gives Lard Lad his donut back, it'll end the horror. And it doesn't. It just amplifies it. He starts destroying houses with the donut, and then Homer, like, you see that
Amazing.
for a while. Even kicks the.
I don't know what
dog
he's
and it
talking
goes
about.
flying
I don't watch The
across
Simpsons.
screen. And Homer just turns to Marge and goes, "Do you ever get tired of being wrong all the time?" Which I wonder if
Amazing.
Maggie's ever heard that said.
Oh, we got like 10 minutes. I gotta
yeah,
like
it's just-
speed
it's
through
funny
these
to watch
last
interviews
three
like that
stories.
now in 2026. You know, like I said before, it just feels that whole mindset is just like this weird throwback to a different era of.
I'm just gonna like get rid of that. We don't really
even
care
they,
about
I think,
that.
have realized that you have to move on from that, and like just trying to blame the Orange Man for like everything, or say like,
Everything is always
this
fault.
evil character in my movie is like a stand-in for him and what he represents. It's like, yeah, that's kind of played out now. We need a new angle, but it's like she's just, you know, waiting right in there. Like, fuck it, I'm gonna just go for it.
I commend the restraint. At least, as far as I'm aware, there is no Trump stand-in in The Bride. As far as I'm aware, there's just like generic misogynistic men. Like, from what I understand, like it was literally just men being as awful as possible. So technically, the villain was just men in general, because of course it was. But I guess I commend her for the restraint of not putting a Trump stand-in in her movie. Do I imagine the entire time she was like, her hands were like on her knees, her nails digging into her flesh, like she's like fighting the urge to do it, but she just like she fought it. Like, again, like bravo, man, good job. I'm proud of you. You were able to like fight off that one thing. Good for her.
Why not? It's
but she had her pen in one hand and the other hand was like digging
it's so
into her leg.
stereotypical of a woman to think of something that happened 10 years ago for a thing that's happening now, to make it relevant to a thing that's happening now. That's what women do. It's boggling, really.
Amazing. Anyway, that was The Bride. Like I said, it only made like 1 million, maybe 2. Remember, the budget was 90 million. So as far as I'm aware, it's a complete and utter flop. And I didn't even know it came out until I started hearing that it was bombing. So that's not a good sign. Like, I think I'm a pretty good like Joe Smo stand-in. Like, I am pretty quote unquote in the know. Like, I'm like on social media a lot and such, and but for something that I'm not like already like super into, like gacha games or specific games, things like that, for it to catch my eye, it needs to be particularly interesting. This movie wasn't interesting at all, so it didn't get any attention from someone like me, and therefore probably didn't get very much attention from like people in general. Anyway, moving on. Oh god, these AI this is so stupid, but whatever. MG Toe becomes more compelling each year. MG Toe, what's that? Hold on, I feel like I should know that. Men going their own. Oh, that mentality. Yeah. I mean, to an extent, yeah, I understand it. And of course, obviously, you know, anytime there's like a male social movement, you know, like, what was her name? Maggie? The Maggie types come in and call it like, you know, extremism or toxic masculinity or whatever, but it's literally just guys like checking out and not bothering anybody, but even that alone is toxic for some reason. Anyway, okay, let's like kind of like quickly shoot through these last few ones. We only have like 5 minutes. Let's start with this one. People. Okay, so basically what happened, from what I understand, is Hassan was gonna have a specific speaker on his channel. This guy, he's like a CIA whistleblower. He's like pretty famous. Like he a lot of people want to have interviews with him, and I think he's like a stand-up guy. You know, it's good. Like I always appreciate whistleblowers. You know. He was gonna come on to Hassan's stream, and people are saying that Pippa ruined that. So let's just like see what she said. I don't know if I can find her start of this thing. I didn't see this. That's so good. I think I've mentioned, but I don't watch these videos. I listen to them beforehand. I just have this on my phone, and I'm listening to it while I'm like doing like paperwork and shit. So I didn't see this, but it's just so good.
The Hassan stuff has been pretty funny. I mean, I'm not gonna get all into that, but it's not a shock collar. It's a vibration collar that has the ability to shock, but I removed the prongs,
I think that was something else.
so it can't be used as a shock collar. Well, yeah, it's a shock collar, but I removed the prongs.
The reason behind this entire departure of John from this potential collaboration, and it all goes back to a shout out that Pippa, I guess, commissioned herself from John, and she used
I love the blur effect, like she's an informant that they're protecting
about this upcoming collab with
he's
Hassan,
talking to the CIA. I guess the CIA whistleblower.
This guy actually listened.
Hi, Pippa.
Okay, can you hear it?
Beep, 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 beep. Or if you didn't get it, beep, 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 beep.
Were they actually like talking, or is this like a video set?
Hey, thanks for the heads up on HP.
HP. I wonder who he's talking about.
I appreciate it. I needed it, and I will take care of it. So,
I asked him not to collab with Hassan Piker.
Oh
He's going on Hassan's stream. I forget what exactly I wrote. Somebody can.
Just a cameo. Okay.
But I requested this false. Playing Overwatch, and there was only like 2 requests left, so I like very quickly wrote something, and I was like, by the way, please don't collab with Hassan.
Yeah, so I guess he just sent him like a quick note, and he listened. Does he follow her? Does he know who she is? Like, I wouldn't think like a guy like him, who's like, you know, famous CIA whistleblower, who's like in his 60s, I imagine, would know about. I mean, he did the whole beep 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 thing, so like, I guess he does know about her. I don't know, maybe like his grandchildren follow her or something. And but she connected it back and
even say something
and actually listened to her, yeah, which is just hilarious. Also, I love how he's like, I heard about HP, you know, I'm gonna take your advice.
Tell you the truth, the last 3 weeks I've been winging it, so I'm very
what
grateful for the
she
helping
sees
hand.
in him. I don't.
All right, all the best. Thanks for reaching out. Bye bye.
Have a guess.
So that's why everyone thinks that. I guess it's still up in the air, but like that's why everyone's saying like, okay, Hassan, like Pippa fucking ruined Hassan's interview.
Oh my god.
Somebody may ask him to say that. Maybe. Also, like her oh my god, her hairpins are so fucking cute. I need more hairpins for my new model. I need something like this. Also, I just realized when she opens her mouth, it does like a bunny, like, you know, like a cute little oval. That's another idea I might steal from her. She's a rabbit too, so I'm getting ideas from her. I don't watch her, by the way. I don't watch a lot of VTubers, if I'm being honest. I rarely have time to, but I do know about Pippa. Obviously, she's very based, and she calls out fucking psychopaths like Hassan. So you know what? She's cool in my book. Check out Mayor Johnson calls the U.S. a capitalist and the beast on Hassan Piker's. He's currently polling in single digits.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the bottom of the barrel that takes.
We talked about this a little bit last time, how Hassan is trying to get like political figures to like collab with him. And I mentioned how in my opinion, and I think I'm being proven right here, collabing with him is political suicide. Not even like Gavin Newsom or Mayor Mamdani want to deal with him anymore when they have in the past, because he's only gotten worse. And any moderate seeing you associate with this guy is gonna be like, you're a fucking insane. What are you doing? This guy is an actual terrorist glazer.
Hassan seriously.
So I guess so this guy decided to coerce with him, and okay, it doesn't look like things are going too well for him. Polling in single digits. So yeah, what did I say about political suicide? To be fair, the Chicago mayor has been kind of eating shit for a while lately because people are really mad at how he's running things. But you know, but still, this isn't helping. Trying to go out and pretend like you're some like band, like cool band members and all black and shit.
Well, the kind of person he is, because well, they agree with him, and that's why they're losing. When people discover what this guy's all
so like this guy's, I mean, yeah. So like, I mean, I guess props to him. Like he actually believes in what Hassan believes, and he's being truthful about it. You know what? Good. I'm glad he's being honest, because then we can tell that he's a psychopath too, and we can hopefully in the next election the people that voted for him can be like, get the fuck out now.
He polls in the
when people are honest to you that they hate you, believe them.
single digits. You know, we don't even want to get into the crime rates of Chicago, by the way, but yeah.
What is that?
Insane stuff. Glad to see this L
CIA.
up on Hassan. The means as to which it happened are
I mean, they're just like stacking up and shit. I hope the music's not too loud, and they can play this in the background. The music in the background while I'm playing this. Anyway, so like that happened. So he lost that interview with this guy. And then here's Hassan's reaction. This is AI, obviously.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're here. So today we'll be going over on Hassan Tech.
So yeah, he lost the interview. And listen, you can actually see the exact moment he loses when all happiness drains from him.
Would say total Pippa victory, with people sharing clips
I can
like
find
this
it properly.
that come from a video that captured an on-stream moment from Pippa where she was basically playing over a.
Let me see if I can find it. No.
I love it. She unlocked there out into
video
Picca.
Your interview with John was canceled because a VTuber told him not to. There's a video of it.
Look at
Which
his face.
VTuber? It's probably someone taking credit for it. But
hold on, you can actually see the moment. You can
Pippa,
hear the moment, like his world just drops.
Pippin Picca, I believe.
No,
Who the fuck is that?
Fuck.
The Asmongold Orbiter. No, this is a cameo, guys. Are you fucking stupid enough to believe that this was like a sincere request? No, people are.
Where is it? Where's the video being played?
I don't think that's the case.
Now, of course, this reaction is straight out of the Hassan Piker playbook, beginning by trying to downplay everything, saying Pippa's cameo was just that, a cameo, not a sincere request, despite the fact that clearly this had great sway over John's decision to change at the copium.
Maybe she actually did a call with him or something, but also none of this matters. Like, who gives a fuck if I can't fucking interview John Kiriakou? Who cares?
Requested this false.
I'm trying to find the
The
moment
reason
he
his
actually
interview-
hears him say, "I'm not doing it with him anymore."
Asmongold Orbiter, that this was like. I don't think that's the case.
Now, of course, this reaction is
I
straight
heard
out
it.
of the
Where is
Hassan
it?
Piker playbook, beginning by trying
Here.
to
Actually, it was
downplay-
here.
I think that John's going on Hassan Piker's stream. A lot of his rhetoric is anti-American. His community is also extremely toxic, especially to the left.
Longer gonna get.
Okay,
a
here it is.
collaboration with
This is when he found out that
thanks
he's
for
not gonna
$5.
He's not gonna
As I saw recently,
do the interview with him anymore.
John's going on Hassan Piker's stream. A lot of his rhetoric is anti-American. His community is also extremely toxic, especially to the left.
So he's reading like a chatter right now that's describing Hassan. Also, I love okay, we're not going through the whole video, but throughout this video he's like mispronouncing Pippa's name, and it's kind of obvious he's doing it on purpose because like he just wants to like make it sound like, oh, she doesn't matter, like I can't even get her name right, she's like that irrelevant to me. And this guy calls him Hassan, something like that.
As to why you're associating with that. I'm not going on Hassan Piker.
Wait, what?
Hassan Piker reached out.
Okay. He said he is. I don't know why he's like now
Not to
saying
me.
he's not.
And I said,
Hear it.
"No, thank you. I've got nothing scheduled with him."
Blaytech.
Wait, what?
Wait, what? Oh god, this way over fucking the fucking red book, of course.
Of course, it's very funny to see this guy responding in such a way that paints Hassan as someone who is un-American and has...
Who gives a fuck if
And yeah, he just like leans into it. Like what were the 3 stages I think Rev came up with was like first like downplaying it, coping, like, oh, I don't care if he's coming on, and then like he gets into like anger at the end, I believe.
Can't fucking interview John Kiriakou. Who cares?
Requested this false.
He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care, guys. He doesn't care.
And there was only like 2 requests left, so I like very quickly wrote something, and I was like, by the way, please don't collab with Hassan.
Oh, it was a request on like on his stream. I guess she just sent one to him.
Even say something. Tell you the truth, the last 3 weeks I've been winging it. So I'm very grateful for the helping hand. All right, all the best. Thanks for reaching out.
It's already 11. Fuck.
I don't think it's like that. He said yesterday there is still something happening in April.
Right wing VTuber, right wing VTuber.
Bro.
Oh god, they love us.
Hassan Piker's show. Hassan Piker's your audiences overlap more than people think, especially on U.S. foreign policy, propaganda, censorship, and corruption. Why not do it?
I have an idea about Hassan Piker and his show, as well as 2 other kind of controversial, young, successful.
Oh yeah, he was basically suggesting like potentially instead of like going on his show exclusively, like doing like a 4-way conversation with other people. And people were like theorizing like the other people that he could bring in would be people like Asmongold or like other infamous YouTubers, people Hassan hates. And then like, okay, I'll talk to you, but let's do it in a group chat with people you don't like, and then you guys can all ask me questions. And that'd be amazing and hilarious.
Broadcasters,
which he would absolutely just like straight up say no, because like he would never, he hates Asmongold so fucking much. Just the thought of being in a chat with him probably makes him sick. It was on the site Cameo where you can request a personalized video from famous people. You just added the Hassan stuff in with her request. Ah, okay. I never used Cameo, so I have no idea what the how it fucking works. The point is, she got the message to him, and it very likely influenced his opinion on doing something with him. Dang, I'm not mad. Please don't go into newspaper that I got mad. Yeah. He's just fucking coping at this point, which is okay. So that's basically that. Let me like quickly just like quick shot this. These 2 games are not doing good. Marathon is kind of losing the shit. It's at like, yeah, they're like coping, trying to say like, oh, it's fine. We only lost. We can only barely keep like, I think the last time I checked, it was like more. It was close to like 40K players and things like that. Let's see. Oh yeah, and also the majority of people playing the game are on Steam. So like the Steam DB numbers, those are it. Like the peak of we saw it earlier. It was right there. Yeah, here. Oh, wait, that's not that's not right. that's just being unfair. That's being unfair. Where are you? Where are you? There you are. Yeah, this is the peak, and that's probably the actual peak of the game, period. So Marathon is not doing so hot. not surprised. And it's doing so badly that they were gonna go to GDC to talk about the game. They had a whole panel. They had multiple panels actually ready, and they were gonna talk about like how they were basically just gonna like hype themselves up and talk about like how good they did, and like here's how you launch a successful live service game and yada yada yada. But even then they canceled their appearances. There's no official reasoning as to why they're not going. If you don't know what GDC is, it's the game developer conference. It's basically where they game devs to go to like talk about games and shit like that. At least that's what I would have said like maybe like 10 years ago. Modern GDC is basically a hug box. It's where game devs, modern game devs go to like shame we won't get the tech breakdown so the GDC to learn from. Yeah, we're not gonna get that stunning information that we all could really use to like make ourselves successful, just as successful as they are. Try Marathon when they eventually cave and do a free weekend when nobody. I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually go to free to play. Like at this point, that's the only thing I can think of that might save the game. How not to kill a game. Oh my god. Maybe, I mean, if they had a bit of what do you call it? Humility in themselves, they could do something like what they could do a turnaround similar to Hello Games, where they turned No Man's Sky into an actual success, and then they eventually made like the game's like doing great now, tons of players, like people love them and yada yada. And they actually did a conference and where they talked about like here's how we fucked up and here's how we improved afterwards, how we did better afterwards. Maybe Marathon and Bungie can do that, but I'm not really holding my breath is what I'm saying. But getting back with GDC is a hug box right now. Like they infamously, like maybe like a year or two ago, they had like the screen. Let me see if I can find it. Scream. Let me see if I can find that video. Yeah. Let me like mute this real quick. If it'll load.
These are a bunch of game developers at this year's GDC, aka the Game Developers Conference. They're all here just to scream it out at the first ever GD Scream. It started off as a half-joke Facebook post from organizer Scott John Siegel.
Oh my
We're just hoping that we would get enough people here to do this. Not so much necessarily so it would get covered, but just so the people here would kind of have a moment of feeling good, a moment of camaraderie, a moment of just fully acknowledging how messed up everything is.
Working in the games industry can be really tough right now.
Oh my
Since
god.
the beginning of last year, it's estimated that over 18,000 jobs have been lost.
Yeah, like I said, it's basically a hug box. The screen was just basically their idea, like, oh, let's get all our frustrations out there and like, you know, it's scream out all our. I love how IGN is trying to spin this as a good thing, whereas like everyone who actually had some sense was laughing at them. Is this who did this one? Oh, it's Nice Boss. Damn, I forgot about them. I haven't seen them in a while. Oh, Smash covered it. Yeah. Next game, Light No Fire or whatever it's called, looks great. Yeah, I'm actually really excited for Light No Fire. I would love to play that with the guys. Hope we can get like Lumi in on it too and see what happens. But yeah, hopefully they learn from their experiences with No Man's Sky and they'll have a proper game out. I think that's why they don't have a release date yet. It's very much a when it's done kind of mentality, and that's good. You know, I'd rather they take their time and eventually give us like a really good product rather than rush it out. They're self-publishing it too, I'm pretty sure, so like they can take as much time as they need. Remind me of the game about crossing the US border. Oh no, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm pretty sure people who were in this crowd are the same who would have made that game. I think I know what you're talking about. I forgot the name of it, but that was another like really shitty artsy game that got laughed out the room like pretty much everything else. But yeah, GDC is kind of like devolved into that. It's basically where they go till they feel good about themselves and hype each other up. And again, it kind of like the Global Wars. It's like it's an ass patting ceremony where like they just tell each other like, you're doing your best, you're doing great, honey, like don't worry that your game flopped and nobody liked it and they didn't like your ugly ass characters and they called you and they hated they hated like the gay shit that you shoved into the game that was unnecessarily there, but you know what, you did great anyway. That's basically what it's become. And so that tells me that they were so embarrassed by their failure of like how badly the game is going that they're not even willing to go to the conference where the entire point is that they're supposed to hype you up and tell you that it's fine, you're doing great, honey, don't worry. Even the hug box was too intimidating for them because they're that embarrassed. So that's just, if that's not indicative of how badly, at the very least, they perceive what's going on with Marathon, then I don't know what is. Anyway, okay, so that's that. Marathon's doing shit, but if you want to see like something that's doing even worse, yeah, 1348 X Voto, excuse me. The Lesbian Night game. You know, in a vacuum, this game might have been fine. It might have just been okay. But the reason why it kind of blipped on everybody's radar. That's one tasty. Vera's cute. I'm not gonna deny it. That's not her natural hair color, by the way. That is dyed, but
after the third.
Vera's holy shit. I wasn't expecting that. Anyway, but the thing that really, I don't know if you guys remember, but the thing that I haven't talked about it yet, but the reason why this game kind of like became everyone's punching bag was because they basically called for it themselves. What happened was that this game, let me find it. Nice Path. This game was just like posting on Twitter, like, you know, different assets and things from the game. By the way, go wishlist this game, Nice Path, because it looks pretty cool. Like proper gameplay and fantasy creatures, dragons, giant snail creatures you can fight, all with like, but you're fighting fantastical creatures with like proper of the era knightly armor, weapons, and proper HEMA fighting technique, which I think is like such a cool combination of like fantasy and real world what do you call it, dogma, real world practice and dogma that was like actually used in real life. But it's just a cool combination. Also, welcome back, Gabby. Imagine having a game about lesbian nights and fail Mr. Me. You're right. Like, you know what? We've had lesbian nights for like the longest time. Like, was just chilling. They were just like showing off assets of the game and like talking about like the things you could, the things you could do. And they posted a picture of one of the characters that you can date in the game because it has romance in the game. And when people saw it, the usual suspects collectively lost their shit. They're like, "Oh my god, why does she look like a child? Why does she look like a porn model? Why is she wearing makeup? It's supposed to be like the Middle Ages, blah 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 blah." You know, the usual shit. Like basically complaining like she's too attractive. You need to make her uglier, and yada yada yada, all that bullshit. And it was just like, you know, typical bullshit. Like it made people more aware of Nice Path, which was good because now people are like, you know what? Because like you guys are being assholes, I'm gonna go favorite this game or put it on my wish list and like actually keep my eye on it because you know what? If it's making you mad, it might actually be good. But then these guys had to step in. The 1348 people. They came in and they made their snarky posts about how our game is be sure to put our game on your modern agenda. Basically, you know, saying how like don't worry, we have realistic women and more progressive standards and all that nonsense. And yeah, they shot themselves in the foot. Keep in mind, this game has been in development, and they announced this game like over a year ago. But we didn't hear about it. The vast majority of people didn't even know about it until like just like a month or two ago when that incident happened, and they picked a fight with Knight's Path, which is just so it's just so indicative that they brought it on themselves. Like their game would have released, they would have had like a few sales, but whatever, like it wouldn't have been it would probably, people wouldn't have even noticed about it. But now that they talk shit, now everybody's actively cheering on their downfall, and to be fair, it's coming down pretty fucking hard. They peaked at like 420. I think last time I saw they only had like maybe like 215 people playing their game. I don't think they broke like 1,000 people playing their game, bought their game at most. It's it's not going so great for them. They could have been like just forgotten. I mean, I mean, you can argue like maybe it's better to be hated than forgotten, but they're definitely hated at this point. So yeah, good job, guys. They went from irrelevancy to everybody wants to spit on you. So congratulations. Oh, I didn't even see the reviews. Mixed, not surprised. Only 242. Damn. Women at full suit of armor doesn't sound great. Like, imagine going down on that. Doesn't sound very... I mean, look, I like ladies in armor. Like, what? Like, we all know my homegirl is Samus. I adore my Sammy. I love her. She's one of my favorite characters in all fiction, period. And this is how she looks like, you know, 90% of the time. 98% of the time in her games. But like the thing is, like, thankfully, at least until now, for now, Nintendo acknowledges her femininity. They acknowledge that, like, this is canon art of her. This is a canon figurine of her. Like, they acknowledge that there is a woman under there, and that, you know what, she ain't half bad looking, you know? No, to be fair, there's like tons of like very shitty like stuff like this who basically want to turn her into like a dude. But thankfully that's not canon, at least not yet, and hopefully it never will be. But the point is, like, you can have attractive women in armor. Like, they didn't have to make her like Gabby said, like, you had a game about lesbian knights and somehow ruined it, you know? We've had lesbian knights before. Arc Knights, you have Fate Stay Knight. Why are Japanese so good at making lesbians than the Western audience? And it seems like the Western audience is the most obsessed with them, yet the Japanese can do it so much better. Well, technically the Eastern audience in general. It's just baffling. I don't know. But they had to make it like super realistic and gritty, but we had to have like a lesbian love story too on top of it, which is not entirely realistic, let's be honest. And also she has to be built like a twig, but she could take on, like, you know, 5 other guys in full plate armor. And just like, what are you doing? At least with Knight's Path, it's supposed to be a fantastical world mixed in with you know, realistic looking armor and combat techniques, but the world itself is like very fantastical. But they couldn't, but like so like it makes sense that like these characters are more idealistic, and like the men are like really bulky, and like they even, like, I remember seeing a post where like they took feedback for one of the male characters. They said like they made him buffer and they made him more masculine and hot. So they do it to the guys too, because like the characters in this story, in this game, are idealistic. Like they're supposed to be like the pinnacle of beautiful men and women, because it's a fantastical world. But that's too much for these people. They have to make their character with her stupid bowl cut. I remember there was an interview where they had like the 2 lead actresses, the one who plays this chick and who plays her love interest, which is her, by the way. This is the love interest. This is the emotional core of the story, because it's supposed to be like a classical save the maiden quest, but it's lesbians. This is her. This is who you're supposed to be saving. Anyway, they were talking and they were doing like a little interview, and the actress who plays this lady was like, I think her bowl cut is hot. She thinks this is hot. I have never heard anyone in their entire life say that a bowl cut is hot. Excuse me? What? I was just... I still don't have any words. I didn't have any words then. I still have no words now. Like, how do you... it doesn't compute. Who the hell says bowl cuts are hot? Anyway, Asia does that better. Have you seen their femboys? Yeah, they also do. They do everything better. That's why Asian games are taking over the market. And it's very slowly but surely we're having some Western games come out and actually do good shit, like, you know, Knight's Paths, the what's that other medieval game? Fuck. Oh, Lords of the Fallen 2 and things like that, who are like actively trying to make games for gamers again, you know? This just makes me excited for Crimson Deserts. Oh, yeah. I know Crimson Desert is kind of becoming a darling for people. A lot of people were excited for it. I will say I did notice this from Crimson Deserts. Apparently, they're going to have DRM in the game.
So many of us.
And that's like kind of making people worried. Yeah, I can see why that's like souring a lot of people's... De nouveau, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So... And it tanks performance, it ruins, you don't really own the game and things like that. It's just so... Oliver Tree? Oliver Tree, let me look that up. Also, we're gonna be winding down soon. I think we're just about done. Or like... You know what? He does it. He looks better than her. You know, the other chick, he looks better than her, let's be real. It's been cracked recently. Yeah, and like that's why a lot of people are like really kind of like worried about this. But besides that, yes, Crimson Desert has been kind of like a darling that people are excited for coming up. But we'll see. I do know that some games have DRM in the beginning and then eventually they get rid of them because they just don't want to, you know, they worry about like, you know, people stealing and like pirating the game like in the first couple of months. Maybe they'll get rid of it, but still it's not a good look. It's just something to know about. I felt the need to bring it up because I heard about this like literally just a few hours ago, so I mean, you know, keep it in mind. Anyway, but yeah, that's basically it, and we were over time like always. What's that, all this shit? Okay, but yeah, we're over time. The Nevo is, if I remember correctly, like a subscription. Dude, yeah, so like the developers have to subscribe to it, so like hopefully over time they will eventually get rid of it, but we'll see. I know about Crimson Desert, but I'm not particularly excited for it because not because I don't think it looks good, but it's just like it's not a game for me. I don't know a lot about it, if I'm being honest. Maybe if I looked into it more, I'd be more excited, but I don't know. I haven't been really like interested in it, but I know a lot of other people are though, so I hope it's good. It's not necessarily for me, but it's one of the games that like I think it's important that it does well, which is why the DRM is the nouveau thing is kind of concerning to me, because like we talk about this all the time, like culture war and things like that. The Knight's Path versus the 1348 Levitos get it? Whatever, like, you know, it's important that certain games succeed right now over other ones because we need to start getting good games again, because like before it was banger after banger after banger back in like the 2010s and earlier, but now it's like it feels like a victory every time we get something good. You know, we just want to get back to good games, right? So yeah, I hope it succeeds. Like I think it'd be good for the ecosystem as a whole for it to do well, you know, and more games will follow suit, and hopefully we'll get back to proper games, and we won't have to have a culture war anymore. But we'll see. Mostly waiting for dev on it to finish, so they can finish Doke V already. I don't know what that is. I don't know who this dev is, so clearly I'm out of the loop. Oh, I think I've seen this. I think. Holy shit, what is this? It's like a party game? Like a license? Kind of looks like Baby's First Sonata. I don't know. It's very colorful. I do kind of like the look of it. Kind of reminds me of Splatoon. I don't know. We'll see what happens. This is from 2021. Damn, it's been in the works for a while. Well, hopefully it comes out soon. We get it, Kurokami. Anyway, that is the debrief. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, I like to go ups and downs. We talk about serious stuff, but we talk about silly stuff too, and we laugh at dumb shit and have fun with it and all that. If you weren't here at the beginning, I mentioned that I'm gonna be very busy over the next couple of days. I have a presentation I have to do tomorrow. Yay, I'm not in school anymore and I still have to do presentations. That's great. But I have a presentation I have to do tomorrow. And then on Tuesday, I have an interview. Send news. Now, check in the chat. There's something lewd in there. Not the cheat. The Hanao art chat. There's something lewd in there. Probably. Look for it. Anyway. Yeah, I have an interview on Tuesday. So I'm gonna probably say no streaming until Tuesday night because I want to focus on these two things so I can get them, so I can do my best, you know. So probably no stream on Monday, but hopefully we should stream on Tuesday night because after the interview I should be able to head straight home, so I'll have a lot of extra time, so we should be able to do a Tuesday stream. Yeah, also I have jury duty. That's gonna be fun. Not next week, but the following week. So that's another thing I have to look forward to. But that's next week's problem, so we'll worry about it then. But yeah, besides that, guys, I hope you had a good time. I know I did. You mean dude? Anyway, hope you guys had a good time. I know I did. Hope you all stay happy and healthy, and I'll see you all again real soon, alright? So you can't be unbiased. I can't be unbiased. No one's unbiased. No one's unbiased. We all have a little bit of bias. Anyway, hope you all have a good night. Stay happy, stay healthy. That's the order, and I'll talk to you again real soon, alright? Later. Alright, guys. Have a good night. Bye-bye. I hope to see you guys on Tuesday. Yeah. Bye.